shall go out with him. If his master gives him a wife, and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out alone. Because the women and the children are permanent slaves of the slave master, even if the temporary worker, the temporary Hebrew worker, comes in and gets free after 7 years. And again, these are Hebrews. Leviticus 25 says that you can own foreigners forever.
But I know that regulates, that's not the modern slavery it's talking about.
I didn't say anything about modern slavery.
I know, and when you said that's what you implied that when you first asked me when like
it is chattel slavery,
but it regulates servant relationships in ancient Israel, and
what
Israelites
did it regulate?
were not to dominate one another. Israelites were not to dominate one another ruthlessly, so the law protected workers.
Well,
and
except for women and
dignity.
foreigners. Women and foreigners are permanent slaves.
But this is where you're forgetting. This is my point. You're forgetting about God's moral principle and all this, which says
What's the principle?
Don't exploit, don't oppress people.
So slavery is not exploitation.
And his moral principle never changes.
So to be sure, owning another human being as property is not exploitation.
It was regulated servitude.
I didn't ask about if it was regulated. I asked, is owning another human being as property exploitation?
They didn't own. See, you're twisting it in the sense of owning them. That's not that they owned them.
They did. It says in Leviticus 25, you may acquire them from among the aliens residing with you and from their families who are with you, who have been born in your land. They may be your property. Property is something you own. It says you may keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These are people who are possessions. They're owned. They are owned by somebody.
Okay.
Hey Jay, what's
up?
I
already said the context and you just reject it. So I already said it.
What context? You just saying the word context doesn't fix anything. And Leviticus 25 and Exodus 21 are different contexts. Exodus 21 is talking about Hebrew slaves, and Leviticus 25 is talking about foreign slaves.
Absolutely.
25 regulates servant relationships in ancient Israel.
Yeah, I know. It says you can own slaves forever.
And that means that what they're saying is to not dominate one another ruthlessly.
Only if you're a male Hebrew.
You're a shame. You're a disgrace to the faith.
To be fair, as Justin said, the only people that you need to treat fairly are your fellow Israelites. The slaves who are Gentiles, that doesn't apply to them.
What's 42 say again?
42 is about the Hebrews. It says, for they are my servants who I brought out of the land of Egypt.
The people who God brought out of the land of Egypt are Hebrews.
You're a complete garbage Christian. You're fake. You're not a real Christian.
So the foreigners you can treat harshly. That's why it says, as for the male and female slaves who you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves.
I know, but that seems God forbids ruthless domination.
No, he doesn't.
You don't know what's going on. You don't know. You think you know, you don't know.
Slavery here was more
keep telling people how to look smack, bro. Pretend you're a Christian.
It says you can keep them as possession for your children after you for them to inherit as a property.
As soon as I disproved your fake doctrine, turn back to your garbage, look smack-sing,
before after ways of the world. But
that's what you are. You're not a Christian. You're fake.
You never get to go.
Garbage, dude. You're a saved sinner, but you're
so
not. You're
listen,
not,
if you are owned as permanent property and you can pass them down to your children when you die, and when they have children, they're now your property, that's just called slavery. So if slavery is objectively wrong, you've got a problem because God is saying you can do slavery.
Well, I do know that they were meant to protect people, to preserve justice.
How is this protecting them?
Because the laws, like you read, about ownership prevented exploitation.
No, it didn't.
And
for Hebrews. Owning a human being as property for life is exploitation. That's the definition.
Listen, bro. This is how it works, okay? You're an idiot. You're not a real Christian. You're a fake Christian, okay? You're pretending. You tried to be the next Honorado Diamante. Turned out it didn't work out for you, so you went back to your look smacking garbage of the world. Okay? You are not a disciple of Christ. You're a disgrace to the faith, all right? She didn't leave me. Where did it say she left me? What are you talking about, dude? This guy's trying to say, "Oh, why did Crafty leave you?" Listen, don't bring her into this. That's her business, all right? So you talk to her about that if you want to find out why she left me, quote unquote. What a joke. Where is she right now? She's at home. I don't even know where she is. Don't ask me where she is. Where are you right now? What are you talking about? This is what you need to realize, buddy. You are a fake Christian, all right? Your doctrine has been disproven. Why are you talking about her? Why are you talking about her? She can do whatever she wants. It has nothing to do with me. What did I do? I did nothing. What are you talking about? What did I do? Why are you talking about her? Why don't you defend your stupid doctrine? You've been disproven. Your dumb doctrine of the cross gospel has been disproven. You guys are done. You're cooked. That's why you went back to looks maxing. You're garbage, dude. What are you talking about? No, I never can see anything of the kind. What are you talking about? Ask her. Ask her. What a joke, dude. You're trying to act like you can judge me. You can't judge me. You're out here trying to rip people off for your looks maxing garbage advice. Broke idiot. Yeah, whatever, dude. You go straight to racism. It proves you're just further proving you're no Christian. You're a fake Christian. Okay? You're just pretending, dude. Garbage. Complete garbage. Anyway, whatever, dude.
That days, the problem is that there are laws that aren't part of your moral law category.
Yeah, look, I have videos on
also
this.
eternal.
Look at my videos about racism isn't Christian. You're an idiot.
So let's talk about the other topic that you brought up, which is namely, you brought up, I don't even know how it came to the conversation, but you brought up that Jesus fulfilled a bunch of prophecies.
All humans are made in the image of God, idiot.
I've never seen one
How
yet.
dare you discuss? How dare you even try to suggest racism is Christian? You absolute trash human.
Are you reformed?
Be cooked? What a joke!
Also, I don't
Just
think
like
it would matter if you
King
don't even
Marco.
believe in what I
You
talk
follow
about
those
Jesus,
guys. You
so
follow those
you don't believe in
heretics.
Jesus or anything.
You're wicked.
We can pretend to
What
be
a fake
Jews who
Christian
believe in
piece
the
of
Old
trash
Testament.
you are, dude. Absolute trash.
Yeah, just pretend that we
Absolute
believe the
trash.
Old Testament is true for a
You're
minute.
coming here to talk to me about.
Do you believe the Old Testament is true?
What a joke.
Isaiah.
Are you
go to
literally
Isaiah
trying
chapter
to
7, verse
defend
14.
racism as being
Oh, boy.
Christian? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'll put it on the screen.
You're a complete joke. You're a complete and utter joke. What is the church in Revelation 7:9? What is it? Every nation, tribe, and tongue. Every nation, tribe, and tongue. Is that racism? You absolute clown. The Bible condemns racism. You're an absolute goof. You're an absolute goof. There is no Jew nor Greek. Every nation, tribe, and tongue is in the church at the end. No, it proves you can't be racist. It proves you can't be racist, okay? Racism is wrong, dude. We're all made in the image of God. Absolutely. No, it's not it. I mean, this is hilarious because you're actually proving yourself what a fake Christian you are. You don't even know that. You don't even know that racism is wrong in Christianity. You don't know that. You think Jesus was racist? Absolute wicked false teacher. What a false teacher you are, dude. I'm not backloading. I'm not backloading at all. I'm not saying you're unsaved. I'm just saying you're a false teacher. You're a fake Christian. You're no disciple of Christ. You're a disgrace to the faith. When did I backload? When did I backload? What a joke. You're a joke. You're a joke. Your dumb cross gospel fakery has been disproven. All right? You're cooked. You guys are done. That's why you went back to the looks back. You know you can't stand up. I never backloaded. What did I backload? What did I backload about? Because I told you you're a fake Christian? I'm not backloading. I'm just telling you that you're a fake Christian. I mean, yeah, you're saved. They're not denying that you're saved. They're just saying that you're a fake Christian. Or maybe you're not saved. I don't know. You try to say you never believed anything but the cross gospel, right? Well, cross gospel is not a saving message. So maybe you're not saved. Absolutely wicked.
To Ahaz, by the way, this is to Ahaz. He's saying there's a child right now that's already been conceived, and before this child knows right from wrong, the two kings that are attacking you are going to be laid waste, namely by the king of Assyria. So if this was something that was for the days of King Ahaz, 730 years prior to Jesus being born, how could Jesus have fulfilled it?
Oh my gosh. Forgive me, Christian brothers and sisters. I'm low-key, I'm just not, I'm low-key feeling Christ right now. I'm feeling Christ right now. I don't know, I'm not sure.
So the reality is this prophecy could only be applied to Jesus if A, you don't know how to read Hebrew, which Matthew couldn't. He was reading Greek and he screwed it up. And B, if in fact you believe that context is irrelevant, because every prophecy you find in Matthew and in John, so on and so forth, are entirely stripped of the original context in which the prophecy was given. They're just random, out of context quotations. Now, I understand that this is the first time someone's told you that, and I understand that you probably think I'm a lying asshole for saying that. I can promise you I'm not. I was once a Christian. I was once engaging in online apologetics like you. It was a long time ago. I'm 40 plus now. I was doing this when I was 20. A friend of mine who had already read all of the Old Testament, she went to Bible college, challenged me and said, you should read those prophecies in the original context and see what you think about it, because I don't think Jesus fulfilled it. So I did. It turned out she was fucking right. So the reality is,
I can never leave Christianity though, because I know Jesus is real. Even without my lack of understanding, I can tell. I can't give you.
You don't know it, you believe it.
It's not that I believe. I know it because I know because I can't give you my experiential. I can't give you my experience. If I were to give you my experience and you say it wasn't true, it would be my emotions or things or chemicals.
Well, yeah, your experience is meaningless. Satan. Yeah. If Jesus didn't fulfill a single prophecy, then he's certainly not the Messiah, and Christianity is not true.
What do you think about Micah chapter 5, verse 2?
I think that's going to make it even worse for you. I think Micah 5, first of all, was about a physical king, but also Jesus just didn't do it. So in Micah 5, it says, "But you, O Bethlehem of Ephrathah, who are of the little clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to..."
Yo, why is this, why is my name not on this thing? This list of names here? My name isn't on here. Why is it? Why is that? Is that because I'm not on the line? Like, I don't understand, man. How about I end up sitting here for like 10 hours and they're not even letting me on?
That gave you King David, which is why it says whose origin is from old. He's referring to the lineage, not the city. That being said, Jesus never ruled in Israel, and he certainly wasn't from the line of David.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think, you definitely did teach me some things. I have to read my Bible more, educate myself more. Maybe one day I'll come back more educated, and then I'll be able to answer. But I appreciate your time. I appreciate you for speaking to me, and of course I'll be praying for you. And I really am not trying to run. I genuinely admit that you did.
I don't know why apologists always end with "I'm praying for you," as if that's meaningful to us. Why would you do that?
Because I know what it's like to have a hardened heart.
Why not just pray for us in silence and not tell anyone? Oh, so now we have hardened hearts? You know what would change my mind is not softening my heart. My heart's not hard. I need evidence, and the reality is the evidence is against Christianity.
Even the evidence of God, do you believe that? You don't believe in God? Do you believe that God exists?
Not until there's evidence.
There's evidence is all around us.
I've not seen a single thing that would point to that. No, when I look at humans, I think of evolution, not God.
Does this even make sense? What do you think about the origin?
It sounds okay to me, eh? I don't know why it sounds bad for you guys. It's weird. I mean, I'm talking a paradox here, but I don't know. It sounds all right to me.
Not a creating entity, and it doesn't exist outside of space-time.
Do you believe it was created?
No, that's what it means to exist forever. It means it's not created.
Oh, so you do believe it exists forever. So how can something, and we live how can something exist forever when our whole entire life, it falls out of place? If something has to be created.
How can it not?
You have to be created. Your parents
No.
your parents have been created.
No, nothing is technically created. We're all made of fundamental particles. Like, for example, every particle that's in my body existed before this configuration existed. It came from outer space, and then we formed the Earth, and everything in me came from the Earth. Every particle that makes up my body pre-existed my birth.
You weren't existing though. That would be your parents. I'm taught before your parents.
We'll try this again. So I'm a configuration. I'm a configuration of particles. Every particle in my body existed prior to me being born.
Okay. So what about evolution?
Just be sure. Yeah, I do. When a human is born, those aren't particles that come out of non-existent. They're made of existing biological materials, namely the body. And then once you have a clump of cells, you have to feed them. Every atom in my body existed prior to me existing.
And I don't disagree with that. I'm saying before humans, before everything, at the very start when there was nothing, because you have to understand that there was genuinely nothing.
There
was never nothing.
I disagree entirely. Why would we believe that there was ever nothing?
So how do you know?
Because if you can't get something from nothing and we have something, then obviously there was never nothing. The question is why would we want to believe, or what would compel us to believe that there was ever nothing?
Well, I'm just asking you, how do you know that you can say you don't know. You can say you don't know. You generally don't know how the universe came into existence. You don't know if it's
For sure, I don't believe it came into existence.
Okay, we
so
don't know
the evidence that we have is that it didn't come into existence. It always existed because
Sorry,
again,
guys.
you can't get something from nothing.
I don't know why it sounds like that. That's weird. That's too bad. I can't get it to like just kind of stream me through them, you know? I have to stream it through this. Are you serious? Is it for picking up cartel radios? Really? Why is it like that, man? It's maybe because their system is so weird. They have some other system, like I don't know how it works, but that's too bad. Sounds good for me, for my ears.
A speck in a larger infinite universe.
Okay.
Now you could totally disprove Justin's syllogism if you can demonstrate that something could come from nothing.
That if something can't come from nothing, that's why I believe that there is a God, because something can't come from nothing. Because when you say nothing,
but that assumes there was nothing.
Even the Big Bang. So why assume that there was something?
Anywhere that would suggest there was once nothing.
Wow, it sounds terrible, eh? Wow.
There's pretty more evidence. So
you haven't listed a single piece of evidence yet.
I already said you're part of God.
That's not evidence. That's a claim.
That is evidence, viewable, misobservable.
Me existing is not evidence for God.
So so let's say everything did exist. How is everything fine-tuned to the point?
It's not fine-tuned.
It is, because
it's not fine-tuned. That's why babies are born with bone cancer. 97% of the water on Earth is poisonous to drink. And why earthquakes and natural disasters kill 200,000 people a year. at random.
Well, yeah, that's because of sin. That's because of humans.
Well, it's not fine-tuned then. Like, if you have to make an excuse for why it's not fine-tuned, then it's not fine-tuned. You've defeated your own argument.
Fine-tuned doesn't mean... So fine-tuned in my sense, I'm not saying that humans are perfect at death and these things don't exist. I'm saying that humans created to be this way. But that's also another topic. That's because of sin.
We didn't create anything.
Yeah, yes, we did.
So to be sure, if you have to explain the lack of fine-tuning,
some fine-tune in my sense, I'm not saying that humans are perfect at death and these things don't exist. I'm saying that humans created to be this way, but that's also another topic. That's because of sin.
We didn't create anything.
Yes, we did.
So to be sure, if you have to explain the lack of fine-tuning with sin, you're admitting that there's a lack of fine-tuning. So, and again, if you want to transition to, well, the fall is the reason why we have all this nonsense, man, you're going to cook yourself even worse than you already have been cooked, because God was under no obligation after the fall of Adam and Eve to make natural disasters, was he?
He didn't make it. That's because...
Well, he did. No, try again. God knew that Adam and Eve was going to eat the fruit because he's got omniscience, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and did he decide what the consequences would be once they ate the fruit?
It's not, but you're forgetting he didn't do...
Try it again. Answer the question. Did he decide what the consequences would be?
It's not that he... It's hard to explain. It's not that he decided.
It's not hard to explain. You're running from the question. So I'm asking you, after they ate the fruit, did he decide what was going to happen? Could he have just forgiven him?
No, because
he couldn't. So God's not all powerful. Holy shit!
He could have, but he...
Okay, so he could have. Okay, so he decided then not to.
I know. It's not that he decided not to. You're twisting the whole entire point of why it was even there, why the tree was placed.
Nate, I think you're getting dizzy trying to figure out the right exit from this argument, but it's not going to work. I just need you to calm down and think about the questions I'm asking you, because I promise you, Nate. I promise you, Nate. Hold on. I promise you that this will go way easier if you just answer my questions rather than trying to run away from them. Because the more you run from them, the more I'm going to have to drag you back to them. So these are not hard questions. So, number one, did God have to respond to the eating of the fruit with natural disasters, or was that a decision that he made?
That's something that happened because the world became cursed.
I didn't ask you about that. It was a yes or no question. Did God have to respond to the eating of the fruit the way that he responded?
Well, then your question would be assuming that God has to do something. I just need a yes or no. It's not a yes or no question. That's just a trap.
It is a yes or no, because if God has to do anything, that means he's not all powerful. So all powerful entities don't have to do anything. So again,
he's all powerful in the sense that he can't go against himself. I already said it. He cannot sin.
I didn't ask you if he could sin. I asked you if he was all powerful. I don't think he can do illogical things. I think he has to stay within logic. No one's saying he can do illogical things. So we'll try this again. When Adam and Eve sinned, did he have to create natural disasters as one of the consequences?
See, they like to keep these guys on that they can beat up on them,
you know? The answer is a yes or no.
But then
right?
I want to go on
so
I
for you to say is either yes,
no,
no, or I don't know. When Adam and Eve sinned, was he required to change the earth so that natural disasters would exist?
No.
Great. Okay. No, he wasn't required to do that. Now, he could have chose to still give the 3 punishments. He could have said women will still have painful childbirths, men will have to dig by the sweat of their brow, and the snake will have to crawl on his belly. He could have said those are the 3 punishments, no natural disasters. He could have done that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So what that means, Nate, just pay attention. You listen, and you will get to the end of this argument faster. So what that means is if this is a decision that he made, that means he could have decided otherwise, right?
Repeat your question. Let me listen one more time, more intensely. I need to repeat your question really simple.
If the natural disasters are a result of God's decisions, that means God could have decided to do otherwise, correct?
He could have, but
there we go. He could have. Okay.
But
You got it.
answer the first one?
So God,
Can I give
so
my
God,
response to the first
so
one?
God
No.
could. We're not done yet. So God could have done the natural disasters, or he could have not done the natural disasters. We finally come to the conclusion that he didn't have to do
know
it.
why he did it, though. We have to understand why did he do it.
I know why. I'm not asking why he did it yet. I didn't ask. That's not a question I'm asking. I'm asking, did he have to do it? So the question has already been answered. Number one, he didn't have to do it. He chose to do it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, do you believe that natural disasters are good?
No.
Okay.
But
so that means that God, Nate, I know you want to run away from this question, but it's not going to work. You just have to pay attention.
No, I'm
okay?
not. You asked
Nate,
me.
I don't want you to respond yet. We're not done with the line of questioning yet. All I need are yes nos. That's it. After we're done with this with the walkthrough, you can ask any question you want to, but we're not done yet. Okay. So number one, God chose to do natural disasters. Number two, he didn't have to do that. That was a decision that he made. Number three, natural disasters are bad. We got that far in our talk so far, which means God chose to do something that in fact was bad. He wasn't compelled to do it. He chose to do it. Do you see the problem?
Well, when you say chose, he didn't impose the suffering. It's not that. That's what you're trying to imply. You're trying to imply that he imposed suffering. He did not arbitrarily impose suffering.
He did. He caused natural disasters.
Yeah, but you're acting as if God. You're trying to frame. I know how you're trying to frame God. You're trying to frame God as if he imposed suffering, and that's why I know that's what you're trying to put this at your main point.
Yeah, if you cause natural disasters, you're causing suffering. Yeah.
God, well, the key point, God allows natural consequences to follow sin.
No, he caused it. No, he caused it. Did God create the rules for sin?
He allows natural.
Did God create the rules for sin?
It's not if you can say. Honestly, I'm honestly gonna say no. Humans did because
try this again. God created the consequence of the sin before any human was ever made. God decided when human beings sin, this would be the result. Humans didn't choose that. If that was the case, humans would be, oh fuck, I don't want consequences.
Yeah, we don't want consequences, but
okay,
but
we're stuck with them because God wants them, doesn't he?
But we have a free will. Someone could go right now and
I didn't ask you about free will. I'm asking about consequences. So we're stuck with consequences because God decided there would be consequences, right?
Because humans decided.
Because God decided there would be consequences, right?
He decided to give humans free will and give them a chance.
Because God decided there would be consequences, right? We're not talking about free will. We're talking about consequences. I don't know why you're confused. All right. So God decided that when we sin, there would be consequences. And one of those consequences was going to be natural disasters. He decided that, correct?
Yeah, he knew we would sin.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, we know, Nate. Listen, Nate, none of this preaching is going to help you here. The thing that's going to help you is to pay attention to my questions. So we'll try this again. God decided that when human beings sin, even the first time, he would in fact create natural disasters as a result. Yes or no?
I feel like I already answered, man. I don't know.
The answer is yes. Okay. Number two, God didn't have to do that. Number three, those cause bad things. Natural disasters cause bad things, which means the conclusion is...
Hi, John. How are you? God bless you, brother. Are you still... Did you believe us what we said that night, man? I hope you did. God bless you, bro.
God decided to do bad things.
Can I respond now, though? You're really generally not giving me a chance to speak.
Do you agree with my conclusion?
I don't agree.
There we go.
Not listening.
All right, so maybe I'll put it in syllogistic form so that we can make sure and actually get through this without all the dodging. So premise number one is God chose to create natural disasters after the sin. Premise number two is God did not have to do that. Premise number three is natural disasters are bad unless you think they're good, which means the conclusion, which just logically follows, is God chose to do something bad. Is this a standard logical syllogism. It's not even hard.
Okay. And all right, so I'll respond to it now. So basically my response to that is God did not decide to create natural disasters. Natural decay and disasters are a result of sin.
No, it's not, Nate. God, you already admitted that that's not the case. God decided what the consequence of sin was going to be.
Genesis chapter 3.
I'll never understand why Christians get up here and lie to my face so often. I don't know why you guys have no shame. Nate, you already agreed that before God created any human being, he knew they would sin, and he knew he was going to do something about it. Right?
You're misunderstanding. I'm answering you. You're not listening to me. I'm answering you.
Your current answer contradicts your previous answer, which is why I'm calling you out. Because previously you said that the consequences were a decision that God chose. Now you're saying, no, it's not a decision. It's just a natural consequence. Golly gee, God couldn't do anything about it.
I already said that. I said it's because of sin, and that was my point.
It doesn't matter. Sin doesn't cause natural disasters. God does.
What you're trying to say is that he created disasters. I'm saying no.
He did.
I'm saying natural decay and disasters are a result of sin because
no,
sin
you're wrong. A sin doesn't have to lead to natural disasters. You already admitted it. When Adam and Eve sinned, did God have to make it so that the earth would result in natural disasters?
I'm saying he had to, but not in the sense you're trying to imply.
So then he's not all powerful. That if somebody's forcing him to do something, then he's not all powerful. So God didn't design the rules for sin. God figured out human beings were going to have free will, and then when they sinned, oh fuck, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll just wait and see. So God didn't know.
Okay, but let's read. All right, can you go to Romans?
Did God know? Did God know?
Yeah, I already said.
Okay, did God have control? Did God have control over the consequences?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
God didn't have control over the consequences of sin. So God created human beings, knowing that they were going to sin, and then he's like, "Fuck, I have no control over what happens after that." Oh no! So God's just not all powerful. What a buffoon! What an absolute clown!
I thought Isaiah said that God created calamity.
Created humans.
Yeah, it does actually say that. Amos says it too. In Amos chapter 3, it says, "Does not calamity befall a city and it not come from the Lord?" And it also says that God, it also says
this is garbage because I'll never get on here. Am I ever gonna get on here? You know what I mean? This sucks, dude.
That God controls the weather. Does God control the weather?
If he were to create humans,
does God control the weather?
You're not even letting me talk about the main
because you're dodging. And you're lying. You're lying to almost 3,000 people right now, Nate. Does God control the weather? Yes or no?
He can. He did it, but he did it before Jesus.
Does he control the weather?
Jesus did it. Jesus is God, so yeah.
Okay, so then every time there's a hurricane, God is in control of that? Could God make it so there was never a hurricane?
Wow.
The dishonesty is getting thick right now. Just answer honestly. Could God
trap me?
So I'm not trapping you. What happens is you know the logical answer and you don't like it, so you're running from it. But I'm not trapping you. You're terrified of being honest. That's what's happened.
I'm not terrified of being honest.
So Nate, what's happened is like you know that these are difficult questions because the answers contradict the idea of the omnibenevolent, the omniscient, and the omnipotent God. But the reality is, God never, for 1 second, had to react to sin the way that he did. He didn't have to create the world with natural disasters because he had control over everything. He had control over what would happen when they sinned.
Okay.
Agree or disagree?
I agree that you got the first part right. I agree with what you said before when I was trying to say that you're right. God, because what you're trying to get me to say is that, yeah, I said that natural disasters are a result of sin. Now you're trying to ask me, well, can God?
Azil's not in the Bible.
I asked
you. Eli, it's like God does. It's natural disasters are like because human sin caused the world to become disordered, so then those things happen, And then if he removes all cause and effect, then the universe won't be just anymore. Yeah, I know, Enoch, yeah.
I asked you, could God control the result?
He could, but he already
Did God design the earth? Yes or no?
He did. He designed it perfect.
Okay, so it didn't say that. It said it was good. It didn't say it was perfect. So
he designed it
good. It doesn't say that either. It says he created sin. Isaiah 45:7, or evil rather. So God created the earth, right? When he created the earth, did he know that human beings would sin?
Yes, he did. He did know.
And when he created the earth, knowing human beings would sin, did he then decide that once they sin, the earth would have natural disasters?
He didn't. I don't think he knew that it would have natural disasters. He
didn't know.
No, he knew. I said he knew that.
He knew it because of the way he designed it. Correct?
Yeah, because he.
Okay. So God designed the earth in a way that once somebody sinned, natural disasters would be a consequence. Could he have designed it so that natural disasters wouldn't happen?
Well, he could have, but that's because of humans.
He could have. There, we finally got to it. Okay, so God, you've admitted again, could have created the earth so that once human beings sinned, there wouldn't be natural disasters. So again, what you've just described is a God who created unnecessary suffering, which is a contradiction of the omnibenevolent character. Do you think natural disasters? Do you think they're necessary? Do you think natural disasters are needed? Do we need them?
Well, it's not that it's needed. It's that it's because of us. Because you're forgetting the whole entire point.
That doesn't answer the question. Do we need them?
It's.
I don't think you can come on this
about one rep in reserve.
Right now.
So to train to failure and then do drop sets, it's counterintuitive to all your goals.
Pay respect, baby. Go to work. 21. Pay the respect. 21.
Another mistake found.
I don't think he's letting people on. This isn't a link. This is like a donate.
Back and training the lats most effectively. You should be using lifting strokes.
I don't think I can go on there.
Come on. Don't you ever say that again. You say, no, head back, pull, sis. You gotta give me something. Come on, sis. Come on, sis. Come on, sis. Where you at? Come on. That's 15.
Hey VG, guess who is happy mom Donnie 1?
Natural disasters. I don't know how my answer isn't making sense. All I've been saying is that they are a consequence of fallen creation.
No, they're not. They're consequences of God's design. God designed the earth to behave in a particular way, and he knew that it would behave this way when he made it, which means natural disasters aren't a result of sin. They're a result of God's design. I used to design machines for a living. I spent 20 years designing machines for a living. If I design a machine where if the operator bypasses the safety, the machine chops them in two, yes, they shouldn't have fucking bypassed the safety, but I'm the asshole that designed it to chop them in two. I'm still responsible for the chopping. So the consequence was by design. God figured out how to...
I can't tell because I can't see my name there. You know what I mean, Nathan? I mean, Nathan, this, so I can't even tell. And then this guy's been talking for like so long, you know? I don't know if I'm ever going to get on here, man. I hate this. I hate waiting here because these guys, they'll just cut it off whenever they feel like it, you know?
How to make the earth. He knew what it would do the moment they sinned, and he left it fucking the same. He said, when they sin, there will be natural disasters and consequences. That's a decision. That's a decision he made.
So if you drop the glass on the floor and it breaks, you didn't have to make it break. But the glass, if the glass exists in the physical world, then the breakage is a natural consequence.
I'm not all powerful. If I was all powerful, I could have just made it so it didn't break. That's what you're missing here. God is all powerful and he's all knowing and he knows exactly what happens with his design. The trial of the glass is in control of the consequence. God is in control of the consequence.
Natural consequence.
3.5 hours. So I don't know. He might be on for another hour or two, but I don't know. I'm sick of listening to this.
Teach responsibility, and they teach
conscience. Okay. So now natural disasters are necessary to teach us something. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, it reveals the reality of the
crazy that like you can't say yes or no. Are natural disasters necessary? Yes or no?
They are, in a sense. They are.
Okay. And what are they necessary for?
I said 2 valid points. Why? Because they're consequences that teach responsibility and caution, and they reveal the reality of a fallen world that we live in, and the need for us to.
So I know responsibility. I'm like super responsible. So like I take responsibility very, very seriously. Do you think I was able to learn that without getting swallowed up in a hurricane?
Well, you could have. Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been in a hurricane. Never been in a tornado. I've never been in a volcanic eruption. I've never been in an earthquake. And somehow I feel I learned responsibility. It's almost like these aren't necessary for anything. And I know right now, Nate, that this particular argument is giving you problems because you keep like you're like digging deep down, trying to find an excuse for natural disasters. I want to give you a head start. There's not a good reason for natural disasters. Natural disasters are consistent with a world without God. It's inconsistent with a world that was fine-tuned and designed by a loving God. It's completely inconsistent. No father would build a house for his children and then booby trap every last room of the house to randomly murder 200,000 of them.
Yeah, you're right. He could have, but then you're missing my whole entire point of what I said. I literally, so your whole entire argument falls when I say this. That would remove free will, moral responsibility.
No, it would not. No, it would not. Listen, when my child disobeys me, I can discipline my child without putting him through a fucking volcano. This is ridiculous, Nate.
He doesn't. God doesn't.
You don't need a hurricane to murder 200,000 people. You don't need an earthquake to kill 200,000 people in Haiti. In 2010, an earthquake killed 200,000 people in Haiti, and another 200,000 people nearly died and were maimed. They lost limbs. They became bedridden. You don't need that for life. That's not something you need.
Okay. Well, what you said right there, we understand what you just said right there, that God's design is not needed, but it allows humans to choose and to face consequences while offering redemption. Maybe they did, and they did.
There's no redemption when a volcano. Was there redemption in Pompeii when the entire city was swallowed up in volcanic ash and rubble?
I don't know. You don't know.
No, there wasn't. They died almost. Some of them instantly.
Well,
these are horrific things that exist on the planet because it's not finely tuned and it's not created by a God. Natural disasters will never be consistent with a powerful, loving, all-knowing deity.
I think they do, actually, like what I just said before. Doesn't that reflect his justice and goodness?
No, it's never just to murder a baby in an earthquake. At what point in time does an apartment building collapsing because of an earthquake and half of the residents dying, the other half being like maimed for life? How is that justice? Do you think little tiny babies that get swallowed up?
It's not about that. It's like God telling us that. Without Him, everything falls apart and everything is no longer good. You know, it's a lesson for us.
Up in natural disasters deserved it?
No, they didn't deserve it. I don't agree with that.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I agree. They didn't deserve it either.
But what I want us to both agree on is that if the world were perfect and humans free, then consequences like earthquakes or volcanoes would exist.
No, again, free will has nothing to do with natural disasters. You can have consequences and just not have those consequences. It's like if my son does something bad at school and he comes back and I fucking beat him with a baseball bat. Yeah, was it a consequence? Yeah, it sure was. Was it the right consequence? No, it fucking wasn't. You can have consequences without being a murderous, bloodthirsting, fucking maniac sending natural disasters. It's crazy.
So with that same thing, we can imagine a bridge, a perfectly built bridge, but if someone tampers with it, supports, then it collapses. The collapse is inevitable, and the people on the bridge.
No, it's not inevitable. Cool. If you're all powerful, it's never inevitable. You can just create the bridge so it would never collapse. You keep forgetting that God's all powerful. We're not. When we create things, they fail. When God creates things, they don't have to fail. God can create an earth that doesn't fail. He can create an earth without natural disasters. He's all fucking powerful. We're not.
Also, but it seems like you're trying to frame it in a way. So you're trying to, that's the classic, if God could have created a perfect world without disasters then. So while
I didn't say perfect world. I don't know why you keep putting that. I didn't say perfect, and I never once said that the world should be perfect. I didn't say that there shouldn't be consequences. I didn't say that either. Those are all accusations that you've put on me that I've never stated once. What I'm saying is the consequence of natural disasters are not necessary and they're fucking cruel.
Well, my point is, you cannot have a true and free will and a world without natural consequences.
Yes, you fucking
If-
can. Again, you're wrong. And number two, I didn't say dick about consequences. I never once said there should be a world with no consequences. I said part of those
You said that-
consequences should not include natural disasters. We'll try this again, Nate. My claim, and listen, because you've done me wrong 5 times on this. My claim is not that there shouldn't be consequences. My claim is that natural disasters are not consistent consequences with a God that is loving and powerful. The same way beating my son with a baseball bat is not a consequence that is in line with me being a loving father. Consequences have limits. You can't do anything you want to.
Okay, so a loving, all-powerful God wouldn't allow those natural disasters because they are unnecessary and inconsistent. That's your point.
Definitionally speaking, they cause unnecessary suffering, and unnecessary suffering contradicts omnibenevolence. You can't be you can't be You're struggling because you're concussed, trying to figure out how to get out of the argument rather than being honest.
No, I need to
So
show you
an
why
omnibenevolent deity is not consistent with unnecessary suffering.
But I don't think you understand. It's not random cruelty. It's
It is.
literally just it's consequences of a fallen.
It's not. He's not a fucking merry-go-round here, Nate. We already been over the consequence 5 times. I don't know why you keep going back to this. Nate, I'll say it one time and the last fucking time. I want you to listen. If God is in control of the consequences, follow me here. Listen for the last time. If God is in control of the consequences, then he's the cause of them. Just like for the last time, if my child goes and does something at school I told him not to do, I'm in charge of the consequences. I get to decide how he's punished. That's my decision. Okay. God decided that one of the consequences would include natural disasters. He didn't have to, which means I don't care how many times you run to sin. I don't care how many times you use the word consequence. God chose the consequence when he didn't have to choose the consequence. Do you follow?
I do follow. You said if God is the creator and then of consequences, and he's the cause of the consequences, basically. And this will be my last point on what you said, and then I'll leave because obviously we're not getting anywhere. And yeah, my last point is that literally, I'm not gonna try to re-said what I said. What I said before. I said God allows natural consequences of human sin because if he gave us, let me tell you something. If he gave us
Nate,
free will,
you fucking liar. You liar. He doesn't allow it. He caused it. Nate.
He allows it.
He caused it.
The Bible never says that natural disasters are just the natural repercussion of sin. Not once.
So we'll try this again, Nate. He doesn't allow it. It doesn't happen by accident. He designed it. He designed the earth. You already said it. You can't go back on it. I'm sick of you lying. And last thing I'll say to your lying fucking pie hole, Nate, is that in Revelation 21, they have what in heaven? Do they have free will in heaven?
Yeah, you do have free will in heaven.
Okay, and in Revelation 21, does it say that there's no more suffering, no more sorrow, no more pain, no more tear, no more deaths, right?
Yeah, you'll have a glory.
Okay, so what that means, I just need a yes or no, Nate. Your yapping is tiring me. I just need a yes or no. So if God can create a heaven where there's no suffering, no pain, no sorrow, and people still have free will, if he could do it, he could have just done that shit here. He chose not to.
You want to know why it's like that in heaven?
No, I don't care. I'm done with this conversation, Nate. You can't be honest, and therefore you can't be on this stage. I'll never understand a person so willing to double back on arguments and disagree with the agreement that they already agreed to. You can't agree that God causes the consequence and then double back on the argument and say, well, he's not in charge of the fucking consequence.
So 2 points. Point number 1, I'm on beer number 2 and about to be going on number 3. So I think I should probably head out for that because I'm about to become belligerent.
I don't blame you.
Second point. Second point. We're the Bible Guide channel not going to be going live tomorrow because I'm going to be putting together the computer and PC that Justin has so graciously bestowed upon us. Praise Doug and his rocky hardness. And so we'll go live again. I'll see you guys on Friday with Justin again. So until then, I'm gonna head out because I can't carry a straightforward thought right now.
I feel it. Thank you so much.
I'm a lightweight.
Dalton.
I'm sorry.
Take
Absolutely.
care of yourself, buddy.
Good night.
W. Dalton. Listen, that happens. That's what happens. Friends, listen, we are almost at 3,000 YouTube viewers. We've got over 2,000 on the horizontal stream, over 700 on the vertical stream. Share it out. Like it and share and chat as much as possible. Tell the algorithm to share it out. Let's break 3,000, friends. Let's do it. TikTok, we're over 600. Let's rock and roll. The night is still young. It's only 9:45. We got more cooking left. And Gretchen, thank you for the super chat, says the only positive thing I'm willing to say about the Verts is that they aren't TikTokers. Gretchen, why? Why would you do this? There's no double schism, Gretchen. We might have to ban Gretchen. Nightman comes and says, on the subject of atheist songs, the song Judith by A Perfect Circle is an absolute banger. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And Randy, great to see you tonight. Thank you for sending out 20. Count them, 20 Deconstruction Zone gifted memberships.
I like to think I can just at least get plant some seeds and some minds out there, somewhere out there. There's 3,000 people listening, right? So maybe we could make some progress, We'll see.
Another 20 for 40. Randy sending out 40. Holy shit. 40 Deconstruction Zone memberships is one reason why Deconstruction Zone memberships are skyrocketing compared to DZ debate memberships. We got like 700 more on Deconstruction Zone than DZ debates. I'm just saying the vertical stream knows how to do memberships. And Hannibal's mom says, Jesus said this, Moses said that, Abraham hit me with a wiffle ball bat, I think you mean. Is that a lyric? Jesus said this, Moses said that, Abraham hit me with a wiffle ball bat. I mean, it sounds like a lyric. I could go for that. I like that. Good rhyme. And Joanne, good to see you, my friend. Says evolution hardwires pro-social behavior. Departures from that come from trauma of some kind, psychopathology, abuse, impaired social determinants of health, etc. Couldn't agree more, Dr. Joe. And great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Cameron, good to see you, says Justin, my apologies regarding my last super chat. I didn't mean that you and Ian get into any beefing. I meant that for entertaining only. I knew what you meant, Cameron. Don't worry. We're yucking it up. We're playing it up for the camera. Don't worry. We know that you don't want Ian and I to beef. I love Ian, and I don't think we would ever beef. Hank says, nice to see the Dodge counter deployed. Rock hard for Doug. And by the way, there is no schism. Agreed. Just as there is no war in Ba Sing Se. Well, I don't know anything about Ba Sing Se, so I don't know if you're trolling me right now or not, Hank, but thank you. And helping make a deconstruct says, the Christian brain rot syndrome has been a 9/10 tonight. Agree, a 9 out of 10. Dalton, you start the schism, then you support the Verts. Dalton, are you happy or little finger manipulating us with all the schisms? Listen, friends, there is no schism. Not between YouTube, not between TikTok, not between horizontals, not between Verts. We're all one family. And Victor says, God did overreact for taking one piece of fruit from his fruit tree. He could have just told Adam and Eve to replace it. Indeed, he could have just punished them by taking away the tree. I mean, there's so many things he could have done. He didn't have to do natural disasters. It's asinine. And McDubbin says, I had a 5-year-old crying in my arms, this because she thought she was in trouble and didn't want us to call her mom. That's the internal shame and inferiority of Nate's God instills on his in his followers. Agreed. In fact, a lot of people that deconstruct from religion have trouble with the idea that they're not worthless. Because in order to be a Christian, you have to believe that you're worthless and deserving of eternal suffering. What a horrible doctrine. And Carissa, last one for now. Thank you for sending out 10 Deconstruction Zone memberships. I appreciate that. And with that, friends, we're going to keep the conversations rolling. And also keep in mind, I don't read the super chats in order that they come. If your super chat hasn't been read yet, we will read it, I promise. If we don't catch it between conversations, we will catch it at the end of the show for sure. So don't worry, we're gonna get all of them read. All right, we're gonna try Jack again. I think we tried Jack earlier, and if I remember correctly, Jack was having some reception, or maybe it's someone else. Jeffrey was having reception problems, not Jack. All right, let's grab Jack from the queue and get things rolling. Jack,
I think I'm next after Jack, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, I'm not sure, but I think so.
welcome to Deconstruction Zone. Are you at least 18, and do you believe in God?
Yes.
Awesome. And which God do you believe in?
You could call me a theist.
So you don't believe in a specific God? You don't believe in Jesus or Allah or Yahweh?
Let's say I just believe there's one God.
Okay, so you just want to lie about what you believe? Cool.
No, I just no. It's
okay,
not a lie.
so then what we'll need you to do is say, I denounce Jesus and Allah and Yahweh.
Well, I believe Jesus was real, and
yeah. Do you believe that Jesus is God?
No. From what I've read in the Bible, no, I don't think he is.
Okay. Do you believe that Yahweh is God?
I'll be honest, Yahweh, I don't know much about Yahweh.
Do you believe
essentially
that any God of the Bible is real?
So I think in the Bible, Jesus prays to the Father, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't read the whole Bible.
Do you believe that the Father is real?
Yeah, you could say that's what I would consider to be God.
So you believe in the biblical God?
Yes, yeah, but I also agree with someone who's not Christian, for example, and just believes in God. Let's say someone doesn't follow any religion and they just believe in God, for example.
Right. So you believe in the biblical God. You just didn't want to come out with it. Cool. So what's your greatest piece of evidence or argument for the whichever form of the biblical God you believe in being real?
Well, don't Christians believe that Jesus himself is God? Because I know there's like Jehovah's Witness. They believe that, for example, who Jesus was praying to was God.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
Yeah, I would say I agree with the Christians that I don't think Jesus is God because he was a human. Yeah.
That's fine. You're just a non-Trinitarian Christian. That's fine. So what's the evidence that the God you do believe in exists?
So mainly just the fact that we exist.
Do you believe that Jesus was a prophet?
Yeah, I think actually I would agree with that. I think the Bible agrees with that. And by prophet, do you just mean someone? Yes, yeah, I also think.
Oh, so you're a Muslim.
Well, I consider myself a theist.
Why are Muslims so terrified of just saying you're Muslim? I never understand why you guys beat around the bush. Do you believe that the Quran is inspired by God?
Yes, and the Bible and the Torah. Yes.
Okay, so you believe that the Quran is dictated by Gabriel to Muhammad?
Exactly, and then
gotcha.
Jesus,
okay, so when I asked you if you believed in a specific God, you lied on Allah. You think he's proud?
I said I believe in one God. Yeah, just one God. Don't really disagree with Judaism or Christianity or Islam.
You think coming onto my live stream and starting out with a lie is going to turn out well for you?
Well, why do you think that's a lie? Theist is
because I asked you if you believed in a specific God, and it turns out you do believe in a specific God, and you beat around the bush for like 5 minutes to make me ask you enough questions to determine that you're actually just a fucking Muslim. So congratulations, you started out the conversation by being a lying, dodging coward, so we can move on. So what would be the greatest piece of evidence or the best argument to suggest that the God of Islam is real?
Well, I'm just trying to have a respectful debate, and
I don't think you are. You don't get respect when you start with a lie, so we'll try this again. What's the best argument or the best piece of evidence to demonstrate that the God of Islam is true?
Sure. A few things. I'll start with one. Just the fact we exist and the evolution. The fact that
we exist is proof for Allah.
Of course, you can see.
What's the proof? What does that have to do with God?
Well, I was watching your stream earlier. You said you for example, you designed machines, right? So
yeah, Yeah, and you're gonna say that the creation needs a creator, blah 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 blah. But we know when things are created, when they're not. Like if I compare my machine to a mud puddle, I know the mud puddle wasn't created, my machine was. So what's the actual argument that your God created anything?
My argument is, what's more complex, your machines that you designed or humans?
Complexity is not a hallmark of creation.
Why not?
Why would it be? Because in fact, my machine, like the simpler you can create a machine to do the job it was created for, the better it is. Adding needless complexity to anything never makes it better. And the human body has tons and tons of needless complexity. In fact, a huge portion of our DNA is no longer even active. It's been passed down through billions of years of evolution, and we've got pseudogenes, we've got genes that no longer function, and we've got lots of genes that actually harm us. So, like, why would we believe that this is designed?
Have you looked into evolution deeply?
Yeah. That's why I believe evolution is true.
So, can you explain, for example, how a cheetah all of a sudden got camouflage on its fur?
It didn't all of a sudden get camouflage. Evolution is a slow process, and to be sure, to get camouflage on your entire coat only requires one manifestation. So, for example, the way that like genes get expressed. I'll give you a good example about hands. Okay, so
it might be
when like people who have digits, or when an animal,
they might be contrived, because like, I don't even have. I can't even see if I'm on yet, And for some reason, my name's not appearing in the list. There's a list, Let me show you guys.
happens to be expressed longer than normal is enough to give you multiple
I'm hoping
spots.
that I'm source.
That being said, the fact of the matter is we have no reason to believe
me because
that spots on cheetahs
me,
just
you know what I mean? So they
randomly
call me source.
appeared all at
I'm
once.
hoping. I don't know. I don't know where I am on this list. My name doesn't
argument
appear
to
on
that
this
is-
list,
I'm talking, so how
So I
would
don't
a
know.
cheetah, the skin change to camouflage in its environment when a cheetah can only...
No, I never debated him before, bro. I've seen him before. I never debated him.
In the womb, it doesn't always start out as digits. Sometimes the way the gene gets expressed is the longer the gene gets expressed, the more digits you get. 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digit, 4 digit, 5 digit. That's why people sometimes end up with 6 and 7 digits, is how the gene itself gets expressed. There's not like a number 5 finger gene. It's about gene expression. So for example, if you have a gene to produce 1 spot, and that gene gets expressed longer than normal, that one time where that gene happens to be expressed longer than normal is enough to give you multiple spots. But that being said, the fact of the matter is we have no reason to believe that spots on cheetahs just randomly appeared all at once.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. My argument to that is, I'm talking, so how would a cheetah, the skin change to camouflage in its environment when a cheetah can only see and touch? Do you get what I'm saying? How would the skin of the cheetah change to its
seeing and touching is irrelevant to whether or not it has evolutionary adaptations.
Right,
so for example, all you need is one cheetah to be born with some sort of inconsistent coloring on the coat. We'll call them protospots. Let's imagine that there's a litter of cheetahs that are born with protospots, and it just happens to be that the cheetahs with protospots survive better because they can camouflage better, and those are the ones that reproduce. They don't have to know that they have spots. The fact that they're able to reproduce more effectively is what allows them to live on and reproduce better than their counterparts.
Okay, so Justin, do you think we came from a fish, and then that fish turned into a bigger animal, and then that turned into a monkey, and then we came from a monkey? To me, there's no evidence.
I know that to be the case because if you bother to read any evolutionary textbook, you would know that is the case. Everything evolved from a much lower form of life. In fact, mammals, we know for a fact that mammals and sea creatures went back and forth. For example, the whale used to be a land-dwelling animal, and so dolphins as well. Both of them used to be land-dwelling animals that eventually adapted to their watery environment. And there's lots of evidence why that is the case. Have you bothered to look into it?
But yes, it's not. It's
not.
Good
Have you bothered to look into the evidence on why we know that human beings evolved at one point from lower life forms?
Okay, let me ask you this.
So no, you haven't actually. Have you even read a single evolutionary textbook?
Yes, of course. I believed it for a
sounds
long
like
time.
Sounds like you didn't, because you would know that there's lots of evidence for evolution. It's not even a question. There's a reason why scientists. It's not spotty. There's a reason why scientists all agree on this.
Dude, it's spotty. I'm telling you, when you look into it, it's not as
it's spotty because you don't know how to do research.
It's as school taught us, and as the textbooks out there, it's not as straightforward as you think.
It is. You just haven't read anything.
Dude, I have. Okay.
You haven't.
But okay, so let's accept, for the sake of argument, accept this evolution argument.
Also, evolution's irrelevant to whether or not your God exists, by the way.
Well, it's not, because if,
Like,
if
I
we
have
didn't
no
come
idea
from
why you
fish,
think
if we,
I don't have no idea why you think disproving evolution is going to prove your God to exist.
well, because if we didn't evolve from a fish, for example, then what created us? That's my point. That's the point I'm trying to get to.
Listen, if your God exists only because of metaphysical necessity, there's a million other metaphysical necessities that we could plug into that gap. We could say, listen, there is a life-granting unicorn that grants life to entities, and that's the metaphysical necessity. It could be fucking aliens. It could be ancient aliens bringing life. It could be anything. There's so many things that you could theorize if all you need is metaphysical necessity, that a God is right out. A God is stupid.
Okay, but can you think of this with me for a second? If let's say we did evolve, right? Why do those other things that we evolved from still exist? Why do monkeys still exist? Why do fish still exist? It doesn't make sense.
Why would they go away? I don't
Because
think you understand how evolution works. I'll draw you a diagram. We have to do this quite a bit actually with people who don't never read evolution textbooks. Let me give you 1 second. MS Paint Online. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I literally just found this app recently, and I'm in love with it. Somebody duplicated MS Paint on a website, and it's amazing. Okay, we'll use red for now. This is, we're gonna call this the evolutionary tree. Now, what happens is, let's say that there's a branch. All right, now we're gonna do another branch out here. Well, as it turns out, this branch on the left came after the branch on the right, which means both of these branches share a common ancestor here before the branch happened. Now, the fact that this branch happened and this branch happened says nothing as to whether or not this ancestor has to die off. That's not how branches work. That's like saying every time a tree grows a branch, the limb that it's attached to should die off and go away. That's not how evolution works.
Okay, okay, and then what started the first cell? What started the first cell?
The first cell, I assume you're referring to abiogenesis. And if you want to know how the first cell was formed, you should actually read a cellular biology book rather than asking a guy who studied electricity and Bible in school. The reality is,
I don't expect you to have
the
a
reality
perfect
is,
answer.
the reality is, even if I don't give you an explanation for how the first cell formed, it's irrelevant to whether or not your God is responsible or in existence for anything. You'll never prove your God into existence by trying to figure out where the gap in evolution is.
Well, because in Christianity, it says God created Adam and Eve, created the first humans.
Which is clearly wrong, because humans existed prior to 6,000 years ago.
Okay, but weren't you a pastor? Weren't you a pastor?
Which is why I'm not a pastor, is because science says the Bible is wrong. There were human beings prior to 6,000 years ago, but according to the Bible, human beings started with Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago, which is what you believe too.
I believe that human is a creation from God. We did not come from a
I didn't ask you what
fish.
you believed. I asked you what's the evidence.
Okay, well, for example, if the Earth was 1 inch closer to the sun, we would burn alive. If it was
That's
1
wrong.
inch further, we would freeze.
It moves millions of miles away and closer to the sun every year. We don't have a perfectly elliptical orbit. I don't know who told you that. Like 14 million miles a year.
Okay, have you heard the fine-tuning argument? When you look at how big the universe
I
is,
hear
how
it
is it possible
every
that
single day?
Okay,
There's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't have to debunk fine-tuning.
Okay, how is it possible that out of how big the universe is, we just happen to be here?
Because
created here.
That's how statistics work. So the universe is a lot of chaos, and you need pockets that are lower in chaos for life to have time to evolve. Meaning, you need a planetary system that has some sort of a heat source, that has water, and some sort of atmosphere for some sort of life to arise. Not every planetary system has that, and the reality is, we have no idea how many life-bearing planets are there in a universe. We've literally just begun exploring the universe, and as it turns out, we're at the infancy of exploring the universe, and we've already discovered that the building blocks of life are self-assembling. We found amino acids on meteors already, possibly even one fully formed protein. There's some debate on whether or not that if it's fully formed or not. And then also there's a pretty good chance that there was once bacterial life on Mars, and there's another protoplanet, exoplanet, or whatever they call them nowadays, that appears to have bacterial life as well, because we are detecting gases on that planet that we know are almost exclusively the byproduct of bacteria production. And we just started. We started looking like yesterday.
Okay, but okay, you have to agree though, the design of this Earth is not like anything we've seen, as you said. So
I know, it's terrible.
How
It's
could
a terrible design. Why would God design the Earth where 97% of the water is poisonous for humans to drink?
Okay, what do you mean by that? Like the sea salt, the
97%
salt
of the
water?
water on the Earth you can't drink. What kind of a
Okay,
design is that?
there's also spring water. There's spring
So
water in the
I
mountains
know,
that's
yeah,
clean to drink.
yeah. I do you think everyone lives near spring water?
Of course not. No, but
Oh,
I'm
of
saying
course not.
that.
Okay, so if
Okay,
you want human
but
beings to
it's
be in an environment that's finely tuned, it seems like you would create the environment so that it wasn't 97% poisonous in the most necessary thing that is, which is water. And why in the world would you design it so that the sun
but
would give you cancer?
but Justin, so is space. Space is basically 100% lethal
I
to
didn't, I didn't,
humans.
I didn't, I, that's
And
another problem.
so
Yeah,
so
that's
Earth
literally, if you just go high enough in the atmosphere, you'll stop breathing. Horrible
that
design.
this is this is one of the signs that I truly believe is evidence for a creator,
It,
that
it's
the
not.
whole Earth is toxic and we're
It,
here on
it
Earth and
literally
it's
contradicts fine
okay.
tuning. I don't know if you're even paying attention.
Well, how does it contradict fine tuning? Because other planets in our solar system, we couldn't live on them. We couldn't live on them.
No,
We
you don't know that. We'll try this again. You said in our solar system, the universe is fucking immense. You have no idea whether or not there is life elsewhere, and we already covered that. We already find the building blocks of life out in outer space. We literally just started looking for them. To make the claim that somehow we're special, we're unique, there's no life anywhere else is stupid.
right, but from our perspective, doesn't it seem interesting at least that how of course okay, the water is poisonous, but then there's still a lot of fruit trees, for example.
So
You can
what?
have blueberries, you
So
can
what?
have you can go get
So what?
food to
So
uh
so
but
what? The same person who designed fucking blueberries designed it so that 3 million children a year would die of starvation. Like
okay, but
this
the
is a
Abrahamic faith,
horrible talking
but
point. Why in the world would a god create the world so that 3 million people a year would die of starvation? Babies, by the way.
be okay,
Children.
okay, because they go to heaven, which is eternal,
Then
eternal.
why have them be born?
Uh, to see who deserves to go to heaven or hell.
They're fucking babies. They
The,
didn't do
to
anything.
okay, well, it's
You
different
think
for people.
babies
For babies,
sin?
it's different. Babies go straight to
Do you
heaven if
think
they die.
babies sin?
No, I don't.
Then why
I'm
have
saying
them born? If
they,
they're not being
they,
punished for anything, they're not proving anything, why have them be born just to come here, suffer and starve and go?
they go to heaven
I don't
directly,
care if they go to
and
heaven. I'm talking about the suffering. If they don't get to live and enjoy or do anything in this life, they're just born to die, then what's the point?
because their families exist too, right? Their families
So
exist too.
I know, and they're fucking wrecked. If my
So
child
so
died of starvation,
what
I'd be
if
an absolute fucking train wreck. So why would
right
God fine tune the earth so that 3 million children, babies, die every year?
right? So their family to see how their family reacts.
That's fucking crazy. Murder all the babies just to see how their family reacts. That's
Is it,
crazy. You can't
well,
believe that, Jack. That's hideous.
the thing is,
That's
okay,
wild.
God
I
knows
gotta
stuff
write them
that
down on my 2 clip list. Holy shit. Let's
God,
see.
God,
Dude,
I'm gonna
God
write it.
knows
I think I
stuff
got
that we
taken
don't. Those
off.
babies go straight to heaven
Jack,
according to
and
the
the clip
Yo,
Abrahamic
is
faith.
gonna be Muslim.
I think I got taken off the list, eh? Wow. Wow, dude. Hey, Glory, how are you? I think I got taken off this stupid show, you know?
Let's see. What do I write in the note here? Muslim thinks killing babies is okay. Just to
Did I say that? Did I say that? Did I say
parents.
Yeah, they might be scripted.
Did I say it's
They
okay?
might be
I never said it's okay,
scripted.
Justin. You can rewind it.
I don't know, dude. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this, you guys.
Reading your book. I'm only on chapter
This
3.
thing
I've already got
used to
like
have
45
like a
fucking
thing called
references to hell.
source.
Can I
This
explain?
prophet,
So I was like,
Can I explain
prophet-
why?
I was like, okay, source is probably me. So then I thought, okay, I'm source. But then now source is gone. And now my name never appeared on this list, you know? Maybe I'm not visible. I don't know. I don't know why. What's going on here, bro? I really don't understand. But Jack's the one talking now. But my name has never appeared on this list, you know? Isn't that bizarre? Or they could be scripted, or they could be just bringing in people that they know or something. Nothing happens. If I click not visible, nothing happens. So I don't know what's going on, bro. I'll bet I just waste an hour and a half. But anyway, it's kind of interesting. I learned some stuff about how these people are so dishonest with their arguments. Yeah, I know they might have a list of, and then they might just try to like put me in the thing to like make me sit here like an idiot, but I never get to go on, you know? Wow, this is bad. It's not clickable. Yeah, it's not clickable. Not visible is not clickable. What just happened now? What's going on? This is the chat. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? I'm just gonna hang up. This is dumb. I hate this thing. Should I give up or what? Feel weird. I don't know what just happened. As soon as I click not visible or something, now it just I can't even see anything now. What am I supposed to do? What is this, bro? Where's my name? Why is my name on here? What is happening here? This is so weird, dude. On air. It says on air, but I don't know what's going on.
Can I get to that, please?
I can hear them. Okay.
Can you answer the question? Could Aisha consent?
Yes, but can I explain why?
Okay, but she was 9.
Well, the thing is, Justin, it's the criteria.
Here comes the apologetic. What's the criteria?
The criteria is puberty.
Okay, so as long as a girl. Do you think they're not okay?
The thing is, God knows.
Does God do things that are not okay, Jack?
We don't know.
Does God do things? The answer is no. God doesn't do things that are not okay, or else God wouldn't be doing them. Do you think that God can sin against himself?
How would we know?
Do you think that God can sin against himself?
I don't know.
You don't know anything.
Well, when it comes to God, that's of course I'm not God. That's the
okay. So how do you know God is good then?
Well, according to the Abrahamic faiths.
I didn't ask you according to the Abrahamic faith. I asked you, how do you know that God is good?
I'm telling you, that's how I know.
I don't care about the Abrahamic faith. I'm asking you, how do you as a human being determine that God is good?
Because of heaven and hell.
So the fact that heaven and hell exist and tells that God is good, why? How? In fact, if God was good, there wouldn't be any hell. Why does God need to torture anybody with fire? By the way, I'm reading your book. I'm only on chapter 3, and I've already got like 45 fucking references to hell.
Can I explain why?
This prophet is obsessed with the idea that God is going to torture non-believers in fire. Why does not believing in this North Korean dictator in the clouds require you to be burned in fire for eternity?
Do murderers deserve to go to hell?
I didn't ask you about murderers. I said non-believers. Why is it that not believing in your sky dictator requires you to be burned forever in hellfire?
Because according to God, if you don't believe in him, God does what he wants.
I didn't ask you what you believe. I asked you why. Why is it good? Why is somebody who doesn't believe something requiring torture?
again, if you don't believe in your who created you, then it makes sense, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't make sense. Nope, not at all. Because even if my child grew up and said, I don't want anything to do with you, Dad, I would never want my child to be tortured. I never light him on fire for eternity. So again, I'll ask, what does me not believing in your sky dictator have to do with me being lit on fire for eternity?
Well, the thing is, God can do what he wants. Just
I didn't ask you if you could do what he wants. I asked, why does me not believing in him require me to be lit on fire?
That's, again, that God knows what we don't. If God says that...
So you don't know. Say, I don't know, Jack. Let the words leave your mouth. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
Fair enough. Okay, so you don't know why. So there's no good answer. Nobody should be lit on fire for eternity because they don't believe a thing.
But what about murderers, though? What do you think about that?
I didn't ask you about murderers. I asked you about believing things.
No, I know, but this is a question too.
I don't think murderers should be lit on fire for eternity either, no. I don't think we should be killing people.
Why shouldn't murderers, rapists, people who do bad things be punished?
Because then Muhammad would be punished because he raped a little girl named Aisha.
Okay, do you have evidence for this?
He married her when she was 6, according to her own hadith. She married her when she was 6 and consummated marriage at age 9. Do you think that 6-year-olds can consent?
Well, for example, no, I don't. But for example,
okay, do you think 9-year-olds can consent?
No, I don't. It's the thing.
Gotcha. So then that means Aisha couldn't consent.
Well, can I get to that, please?
Can you answer the question? Could Aisha consent?
Yes, but can I explain why?
Okay, but she was 9.
Well, the thing is, Justin, it's the criteria is puberty.
Criteria?
Oh, the criteria is puberty.
Okay, so as long as the girl hits puberty, you're allowed to go into her.
And she consents.
What do you think
okay,
consent is? Because I don't think you know what consent means.
And she.
So did you
for example,
did you see my name like where it was on the list? Like what number it was?
What's the definition of consent?
It's accepting, or yes, like saying yes to something that someone's asking you.
And do you think 9-year-olds can consent?
Today, no. Current day, no.
Why not?
Day, no.
Why not?
Because most are not haven't hit puberty at that age, and most are not.
I didn't ask you about puberty. I asked about consent. Okay, so consent requires a knowledge of what you're doing and understanding of the ramifications of what you're doing.
Yes, yes.
And do you think 9-year-olds have that?
No, I personally don't. I don't.
Okay, then why would we believe that Aisha had that?
Well, because did you know before Muhammad she was engaged already? Did you know that?
I didn't know that, nor do I care. That makes it even worse. So that means prior to the age of 6, she was already engaged to be married, which means do you think 5-year-olds can give consent to marriage?
No, but you have to understand that the families
decide.
Do
you think Aisha made an informed decision at age 5?
No, but listen.
Gotcha.
Justin,
Okay.
Justin,
was she the only woman alive that ever gave informed consent at age 6?
Justin.
Jack, you're answering my question.
So. No, I don't think so. That's my answer. No.
So there are other women on the planet that gave informed consent at age 6.
I don't know. I wasn't there, but can I explain? Please?
No, I don't want an explanation. I want a fucking answer. In Iraq, they lowered the age of marriage to 9. Do you agree with that?
Did you know in the U.S. it was 7?
I didn't care. I don't care about. I don't care. I don't fucking care about your what? We're talking about 2025. In 2025, there are Muslim countries that are okay with marrying off 9-year-olds. Do you agree with it?
I don't know.
Okay. So on what grounds do you disagree with it?
Essentially, by marriage doesn't necessarily mean they're having sex, Justin.
On what
it means
grounds?
the families decide
on what grounds
I didn't
ask you about that. I said on what grounds do you disagree with it?
I disagree that the woman should be past puberty and she should
Why?
want to do it.
Why?
Because past puberty, they're aware they can give consent.
No. In the Quran, you don't have to be past puberty to be married. In fact, you can divorce a woman who hasn't even reached puberty.
And you have to.
I love how you just address what I just said, Jack. In the Quran, you can divorce a woman who hasn't reached puberty yet. You know this, right?
I haven't read the whole thing. How would I know?
Then why are you in this religion? Why are you in this religion if you haven't read the book?
Can you bring me a verse?
Why are you in this religion? I will, but you're answering my fucking question first. Yeah, why are you in a religion that you haven't read the book of?
I don't know, but it's a good question. But as I said, I'm a theist.
I don't care if you're a theist. I'm talking about a specific religion. Why are you in this religion? You believe in Allah. Stop lying to me.
Yes, I do. Yes.
You're gonna look foolish every time you get on my live stream in front of almost 3,000 people and you lie. It makes you look foolish, not me.
By the way,
you know that? God bless.
Fucking everyone learns that at like age 12, Jack. This is childish. We knew that before you were even born. Okay. So it says in the Quran. We're gonna go to the passage right now. As for your women past the age of menstruation, in case you do not know, their waiting period is 3 months. Talk about divorce. Their waiting period is 3 months, and those who have not menstruated as well. As for those who are pregnant, their waiting period ends with delivery, and whoever is mindful of Allah will make their matters easy for them. So the waiting period to divorce a woman, even if she hasn't reached puberty, is still 3 months, just in case. Now, let me ask you a question. Why did they have a waiting period for divorce?
I don't know. Can we pull up context on this verse?
I can tell you in case they were pregnant. That way they knew who the child was, correct?
Okay, can we get context on the verse, please?
What context do you want?
Is there something we can see context?
I'm asking you, what context do you need?
There's usually sections on these types of websites that will explain what the verse
I've got it
means.
open right now. O prophet, instruct the believers, when you intend to divorce women, then divorce them with concern for their waiting period. Right. And count it accurately, and fear Allah your Lord. Do not force them out of their homes, nor should they leave unless they commit a blatant misconduct. These are the limits set by Allah, and whoever transgresses Allah's limits has truly wronged his own soul. You never know, perhaps Allah will bring about the change of heart later. So this is about the waiting period, in fact, for divorce. And the problem you have is if you just divorce a woman, bada bing, bada boom, and she turns up pregnant a couple months later, it's possible that the woman is pregnant with the first guy's wife. This is supposed to prevent that. This is supposed to be the prevention so that you knew whose baby this belongs to.
What's your issue with this?
My issue is that it says you can divorce a woman who's not yet reached puberty or menstruation.
Okay, but You wouldn't
So
let
do
me
you?
explain that.
So
There's
do
two
you?
families
So do
sometimes
you
that they
believe?
will.
Do you believe that you should
There-
be able to marry a girl who hasn't reached menstruation?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But can I explain to you
Okay,
the
but the
different types
Quran
of
says
marriage?
so.
Okay,
We
but
know
you're
we
taking it
know
out of
about
context.
Jack. I'm not. We know about betrothal. We know that
Where,
betrothals happen. We
where
know that a
two families
betrothal.
decide
We know that a
when,
betrothal happens, and you're not having sex yet during the betrothal period. This is not talking about a
and the
I don't
betrothal
parents.
know. It just
because
kind
there's
of
a waiting
fixes the
period.
times,
You
you know.
wouldn't have a waiting period if they weren't having sex.
And Justin, the parents also the parents. There's two families, right? And they're family friends.
Jack,
If
I
two
don't
families
know
have
why
kids,
you don't listen
they
to a
can.
word that comes out of my mouth. We'll try this again. There's a waiting period because they're having sex. You need the waiting period to determine if the baby is yours, which means it doesn't matter. This girl is getting fucked.
But okay, but the waiting period is it for the divorce or for the baby?
It's for the
Because you
divorce so that we know if she's pregnant who the baby belongs to. Because
that's not in the
what you
verse. That's not in the verse, Justin. That's not in the verse, dude. That's
okay. Oh, so what's the waiting period for then? Tell me. Tell me.
in case they want to. In
Give,
case they want to stay
give me it.
together. In case they
No,
want to stay
that's
together.
not even remotely the case.
Have you been in a divorce? Have you been in a divorce?
In fact, I have, and there's no three
And
months waiting, and there's no
did you
three
guys
months
just
waiting,
split right
and there's
away?
no 3 months waiting period. There's some states that have separation laws, but almost no
Forget
states
about
have
laws
them
for a second.
anymore.
Forget about laws for a second. If
And
did you
and
guys
we
separate
and
at
we could
first?
and we could just read you the
Anyway,
rest
you
of
know
the.
what, you guys? Look, I'm sorry. I can't take it anymore. I hope this is not gonna be too angry with you guys, but I just can't take it anymore. So I'm gonna turn this off. I mean, I'll keep it on in the back. Maybe they'll let me on, and then I could talk to them. But I can't even see on this one. You know, it's weird. Like, if you go to this one,
Okay,
I can't
why
even
is
see.
menstruation relevant here?
I can't even see the screen
Because
anymore. You know?
puberty is important to a woman has to be past puberty to be considered an adult.
No. This is past the age of menstruation.
Yeah. So past
Okay,
menstruation,
so
when a woman menstruates, she's
why are
puberty.
This is so
women
bad.
why is
This is
their
so dumb.
menstruation period?
And all right. So what can we do now then? So we could go on. Go on. What do you call it? Those guys. What are those guys called? Breakfast tacos. You know breakfast tacos. You go on there. You know. Let me see. Where is it? Oh, breakfast tacos. A quick unrelated question. The Masons claim that King James was a Mason. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah, I talked about that. It's possible. But I was saying that even the Masons need like a proper Bible. Like they use the Bible, like witchcraft and those type of occult things. They use the Bible, you know? They need the Bible to be accurate. So that's one reason why I could honestly even accept the idea that King James was a Mason and that he still created a perfect Bible, you know? Not that he created it, but that God used him, you know? Because the thing is, the king doesn't have really that much choice as people think. Like, he has to do what God wants him to do. Not that God mind controls him, but God will just change things in a way so that he'll choose what God wants him to choose, you know? Politics Discord VC. I'm sure the people on Breakfast Tacos go to that server. Well, I don't want to go on Discord because then if I'm publishing it live, then it's basically violating people's privacy, you know? But yeah, needgod.net is live too, but that's another guy you have to end up waiting forever. Okay, no problem, brother. Glad I could help you.
Song. We get to be encouraged by this from John chapter 1. And then after this, we get to do a Bible Trivia Kahoot game. That's the viewer chats we'll be able to have today, but we'll definitely do some more tomorrow, Lord willing. But here we go. Let's Let's listen to this. This is the Word become flesh, John chapter 1.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word...
Wait, what's going on here? Why is my sound all weird? Oh, because of this thing. Okay. Anyway.
Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him...
Like, asking people for tithing now is just not biblical in any way. You know what I mean? But I will talk about that probably on Thursday. That's the plan anyway. God willing. You guys know of any other Christian lives we could go on? Otherwise, we're going to go on breakfast tacos, man. That's so bad. Or we could look at some other videos if you guys have any suggestions. Oh, no problem. Thursday's tomorrow. Yeah, like I say, I have a plan to do that live tomorrow, but you never know. So I'll leave it with God. Suggestions? What is that? Do I have suggestions? Monkey trolling, join stream. What's this one?
Tomboys are better than femboys.
Yes, I love femboys. Oh my god.
Nah, you tripping?
I love femboys.
How you gonna fuck with femboys when tomboys exist, bro?
What are these guys talking about? Weird. Wednesday Bible study Revelation. Oh, this is that guy Luke. That guy's so bad. Where's breakfast tacos, man? They came off. Straight up Wednesday with Pastor Mo.
And I think she asked Brother Rod. I did see this. Brother
What's
Rod, is it okay to drink milk with a little sugar during fasting for medical reasons? No, that's... Oh, yeah, that is it. Is it okay to drink milk with a little sugar during fasting for medical reasons?
What video? What video? I don't know what video you're talking about, bro. You gotta tell me.
Mark, can you hear me?
What is it, in the Discord? Oh, let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Oh shoot. Yeah. Okay, this one.
Christianity with one of the toughest questions imaginable. Look at this.
Do you think she did something immoral?
Alex O'Connor thinks he's cornered Christianity with one of the toughest questions imaginable. Look at this.
Do you think she did something immoral?
Yeah, she disobeyed God.
And what did she eat from the tree of the...
I'm not sure.
She ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Right. So she ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, implying that before she ate of it, she didn't have a knowledge of good and evil. Well, how would she have done something immoral before she ate it?
Wait a sec, does Alex have a point? How could Eve really be on the hook for the fall? Did Alex just unravel Christianity in one question? Or has he completely missed what the scripture is actually teaching? Let's jump right in. Welcome back to Wise Disciple. My name is Nate Solid. I'm helping you teaching. Let's jump right in.
This symbol is completely like pagan and Freemasonic, dude. This is wickedness.
Welcome back to Wise Disciple. My name is Nate Solid. I'm helping you become the effective Christian that you are meant to be, which entails apologetics. And we're going to see some challenges to the Christian faith today, but we're also going to get some clear answers. Amen. Make sure to like, sub, and share this one around if it blesses you.
I think the irony is that we're in a context of a discussion where usually the boot's on the other foot, and I'm sort of being told that as a non-religious person, as an atheist, agnostic, I don't have a satisfying explanation. You know, what am I going to say at the footstool of somebody who's dying of cancer? But it sounds to me.
Well, hold on a second. If he's being told that he does not have a satisfactory explanation to give the dying child at the bedside, it's probably because there is no satisfactory explanation that an atheist can give, a materialist can give, or whatever Alex is. You know, what would that be? You know, sorry, kid, the universe doesn't care about your cancer. That's not satisfactory, right? What's interesting to me is Christians get faced with this question. So Greg Kokel is getting faced with this at the moment, but then they get belittled because atheists don't like the Christian answer. But it's absolutely fair to ask atheists what they have to offer the dying cancer patient as well. You know, if you remove the dam, what do you propose to put in its place to stop the rushing of the waters? You know, and what Alex wants to do is critique the Christian answer, but refuse to offer one of his own.
At least today, like, we don't have a very plausible alternative in Christianity. For example, I did have a few questions, which maybe I'll be permitted the time to ask. And I don't want to bang on about this, but it's important because this is ultimately, you're here to represent your view and a worldview more broadly. And this is, to me, the question of suffering. And you've explained your views about the fall, and I wanted to let you put them in full before I asked a few questions. But the first question that jumped out at me is the question of pre-human suffering. We're not the first species to inhabit this planet, and before we existed, billions of years, I don't know if you believe the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, but billions of years, hundreds of millions of years at least, of animal suffering.
Yeah.
Like, and that is experienced. They like, if, and you could say that it somehow is less like relevant or doesn't matter as much, but if you saw me right now step on a dog's tail and watch it squeal, you'd tell me to stop, because you know that absent just the effect that has on our human situation, that's bad for the dog. That kind of stuff was going on for hundreds of million years before humans were around. That means before the fall.
That's true.
Okay, so he wants to talk about pre-human suffering and animal suffering, but I don't think he's going to be straightforward about this. What he's going to do is he's going to assume that everyone agrees that suffering is bad. And I think they do. In other words, he's going to leverage our social attitude against suffering so that he can critique Christianity. Now, this actually becomes a problem twice. Because if he's doing so as a test of coherence to Christianity, well, then he's missing key data to make the conclusions that he's making. In other words, if he wants to suggest that there's some kind of problem between the notion that God is good and also animals suffer, or even people suffer, because they were talking about children suffering a moment ago, well, then he's missing key information for him to draw that conclusion. He's drawing somewhat from the text of Scripture, I take it, but then he's stopping short and he's drawing a premature conclusion. That's the first problem. Or it could be another one, you know, so if he's talking...
Well, what is the premature conclusion about? Anyway, the point is that, like, if you say suffering is bad, you need to show some kind of reason why it's bad, you know? We have a reason because of God. Like, God gives us a moral compass, right? So we can see. But the atheist can't really say that. That's the point of it.
Talking about suffering out of his emotivist framework, which is how he identified himself in this talk, which, by the way, I'll leave a link for the whole entire discussion below. But this is how he identifies himself, as an emotivist. Well, then he's got a whole other set of issues. Now he's operating from a non-rational stance altogether. According to emotivism, there is no rational substance to our ideas about morality, because emotivism says that morality is only emotion. You know, when we talk about good or evil, we're just emotionally venting. You know, like, we might as well be grunting at that point. Calling God evil or cancer evil or wicked, it really equates to God, boo, cancer, boo. You know, that's not an argument. There is no rational teeth to that. Can you see that? And that means emotivism cannot bear the existential weight of the problem of suffering.
The second question I have.
And I don't entirely know how to answer that. Part of the problem comes when you create a world in a certain way that has certain cause and effect kind of things. So pain is there for a reason. Pain is there so that you can avoid something that's harmful to the body. When you start feeling pain, you withdraw from it, okay, in a very simplistic sense. It also has a downside. And the downside is that pain is painful, and sometimes dying is very painful too. So there's a trade-off there. Now, I haven't worked all those details out, okay? But what I look at is a larger picture, because I can't refine all of those things for my own thinking. The larger picture is we all live in the same world that is filled with pain and suffering. So then the question is, who has the best explanation?
Not the whole of the law, though, Eli, because there is that concept of love God, right? Love God first, then love thy neighbor as thyself. So that's why we can't reduce the law of God just to reciprocality, right? It's like there's more to it. Because loving God means you're gonna act in a moral way. Hey, what's up, Typical? God bless, bro.
Large about how that works. No explanation, or maybe some are going to go very granular and get here's why your baby is suffering this moment for this thing. We're not going to be able to do that, but we can understand why the world is broken. Now, if you don't hold that the world was made for something better, then the world we see right now is not broken. It's just the way it is.
So what Greg is doing here is actually what he should be doing. You know, he's laying a framework for the audience to recast this issue in a proper light. You know, Alex wants to put all the focus on the Christian and his perceived problems with Christianity. Greg is simply reminding everyone that Alex is actually not off the hook for evil and suffering in the world. Nobody is. Everyone has to wrestle with this existential problem, as it turns out. And from the Christian perspective, the atheist answer that there is no such thing as objective moral good and evil, it thoroughly diminishes the experience of those who do suffer. You know, at least Christians can honor what people are feeling and call it for what it is. It's evil, you know, when they go through something wrong or when they suffer. You know, that's wrong. Christians can say that. That should not.
It's, if you love me, keep my commandments, right? So it's not just pray and read the Bible. It's love the brethren. That's the important part of it. Love the brethren, you know, and keep the faith of Jesus Christ. But yeah, love your God means to obey his commandments.
Should not happen. Under the moral subjectivist view, what are they going to say? You know, animal suffering, children with cancer, boo, right?
There's no moral
I
assessment.
mean, when I say that, I'm talking about John 14:15. So that's where I get that from, not just pulling it out of the thin air.
That we can make that would make any sense. Yeah. But we constantly make moral assessments, which is why you're bringing this issue up
No, it's
of
not.
suffering.
I've been very careful to avoid moral language for precisely this reason.
Let me explain how. It seems to me that you are bringing, kind of smuggling in moral categories with the suffering issue. Because if I said I don't care about the suffering of millions of years of organisms that had experienced pain, that kind of casts me in a kind of a negative moral light.
What happens, man? As soon as the thing goes off, I can't sleep. It's so weird. Like while I'm doing the Bible study, I'm falling asleep, and then as soon as I've done the Bible study, I can't sleep. You know. And then I was gonna go on this atheist show and try to debate him, but then that didn't work out. So now we're just looking at videos. What's up, brother?
You don't have to say that. It does seem to me that you're smuggling in the notion that suffering is bad morally.
I know that people often do that. I'm specifically avoiding that because I've had this conversation 100,000 times, and that's the accusation that gets brought up. And some people do that, but I'm specifically, you can rewind the tape. I make great pains. I don't say the problem of evil, for example. I say the problem of suffering.
Okay.
If you said that you didn't care about suffering, I would say that you're probably just being inconsistent with your Christian worldview, for example. I wouldn't say that you're doing anything immoral in the context of this conversation.
I'll accept the qualification.
So what I'm saying is that if Christianity were true, we would not expect the kind of suffering that is present in the natural world. I'm not saying that on my worldview, that suffering is...
Okay, so what Alex is doing is one of the things that I offered a moment ago. This is a test of coherence with regard to Christianity. He's not exactly saying that, but that's what's going on. If Christianity says that there is a God and he is good and animal suffering exists, these concepts do not cohere. These dots do not connect. They actually contradict. And as I said a moment ago, Alex is not the hearing is. Okay, so what Alex is doing is one of the things that I offered a moment ago. This is a test of coherence with regard to Christianity. He's not exactly saying that, but that's what's going on. If Christianity says that there is a God and he is good and animal suffering exists, these concepts do not cohere.
Oh, he's trying to say that, yeah. The very existence of animal suffering is morally wrong, right? So if there's a good God, then there shouldn't be that moral wrong should not exist, you know?
These dots do not connect. They actually contradict. And as I said a moment ago, Alex is not bringing all the available evidence to the table before he draws his premature conclusion. And here's what I mean. The Bible itself takes into consideration suffering. You know, look at this. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8. Hold on a second. There are all kinds of passages like this, you know, and I won't get into the exhaustive list of these, but this was the first one that came to mind. Look at this. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed, always carrying in the body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be manifested in our bodies. Verse 16. So we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this, here it is, light momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. Affliction, particularly this word in the Greek, connotes suffering. It brings in this idea of persecution and distress, you know, which is what Paul was talking about at the outset. That's why I started back up here in verse 8. But wait a second, Nate, how can God allow this type of suffering if he's good, right? It's because God recognizes that suffering can be useful. Suffering can produce something good on the other side of it. That means that suffering in the...
I don't know. I feel like this is a bad way to explain this. What do you guys think? Like what he's saying now is that suffering is allowed by God because it produces this good thing in the end, you know? Which I don't think that's what's really going on here. But this is also true that in the end, after the suffering is done, then we'll have this glorious thing with no suffering, right? But I think what's going on is like sin, because we're supposed to rule the world, right? Then when we sinned, then that means like the rulers of the world are all like sinful. So like what happens is the world itself reacts to that. And that's why we get suffering in the world now, with the fallen world, right? the world has been cursed by God, right? But even that, he's using that in the end to produce something greater too. Like, if we were just like Adam and Eve and didn't know good and evil, and then we just went and we just went to heaven like that without having experienced this life, we would just be robots, right? We wouldn't have like we wouldn't truly have chosen him out of love, or there wouldn't be this love connection between us and God. It would just be like we're basically his slaves. So, and also it's like suffering produces compassion and mercy and stuff, right? So all these things can only come about if the suffering did happen, right? So, but I do still think it is ultimately because of human sin that all these things occurred, you know?
In the biblical scheme is not something to be avoided, but understood as having redemptive potential. And that only trades on having the proper eternal perspective. That's why Paul finishes this entire sentiment with verse 18. Look at this. As we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal. Okay? See, this doesn't make sense to an atheist. Why? Because they don't believe in God. They do not believe in a supernatural realm. And if there is no God, there is no redemption of suffering. There is no heaven. There is no resurrection, you know? And so when people die, that's it. They cease to exist. But when children of God die, they are, as Shakespeare suggests, changing stages, you know? If all the world's a stage and every man and woman merely players, well, then the dead or the dying, they walk off stage and onto a new and better and glorified one. Amen? That's why this test of coherence does not work for a lot of atheists. It's because they don't really think about these things. They don't consider the full totality of the testimony of Scripture. Now, Alex's concern seems to be for animals who suffer, not merely people. But he doesn't know what God will do with animals who die. You know, nobody does, because the Bible doesn't really talk about it. But that's the thing, you know, it's the Bible not talking about it is not the same thing as the Bible saying nothing will be done about it. And actually, the few times that the Bible does talk about this, it seems to suggest that animals themselves will play a role in the restoration of creation and the new heaven and the new earth. Okay, look at this. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 6, the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the lion and the fattened calf together. And the little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall graze. Their young shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. The nursing child shall play over the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the adder's den. They shall not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. This is an eschatological passage that clearly teaches that in the end, not only will there be a restored harmony and peace between people, there will be a restoration of animals and the natural order as well. How that plays out with animals who currently live now, I don't know. But that's what I mean. Like, there already appears to be an indication for the regard of animals and their restoration in the fullness of time. Isaiah talks about it here. He picks up this same topic again in chapter 65. Paul alludes to this in Romans 8 when he says that all of creation is groaning for redemption. This is also suggested by John again in Revelation 21:5. So, I mean, this is what I meant a moment ago. You know, Alex is missing key pieces of information and drawing a premature conclusion.
Crafty. Go to the beginning of the live and look at what Dit was saying to me. What a joker this guy. Or maybe he'll get mad. I don't know. I don't want to get upset, but Terry Strange. I'm gonna try and get on there.
Conclusion that Christianity fails the test of coherence. It doesn't.
Wrong and must be fixed, and there's some moral element. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that it is unexpected. If Christianity were true, that suffering would be as it is.
Well, the way
in particular, the non-human animals.
No, I understand that. Okay, and the way I'm looking at it.
Do you understand that I'm not smuggling in those moral? Sorry, because you said that I'm smuggling in moral.
No, okay, I it's okay. All right, I understand your point.
Okay.
Do you have a second
question? I did, which is that if the fall is the explanation for, shall we say, the moral evils that people commit, like the Holocaust, the reason why people have a proclivity to commit the Holocaust is because of the betrayal of God's trust a few million years ago, whenever it was you think it was. If Adam and Eve's transgression is the explanation for why humans have a sinful
household, one of the ideas is that you know that St. Thomas writes about is that a sin in some cases a sin can cause a stain that remains on the soul even after forgiveness. Now, after a person is forgiven, they're not going to go to hell. They're not going to face any eternal punishment after that. The analogy someone would make would be like, imagine if someone threw a rock through your window. And then the person came an hour later and said, I did it. I confessed to it. I threw the rock through your window. I apologize. And Jamie says, okay, I forgive you, but there's still damage for the window. And and that still needs to be repaired. That's essentially the idea that St. Thomas comes up with, which he supports through those verses in the Bible, which is that sin can cause a remaining stain on the soul even after a penance has been done. And so the idea of an indulgence, or the idea of purgatory, is that person is saved after penance has been done no matter what. However, to ultimately heal the soul of that stain, there is some sort of remedy that has to be extracted in that type of situation. And so the idea of an indulgence, usually what an indulgence would be is a pilgrimage or a prayer meditation or something like that. Now, in the case of what happened with Pope Leo X, what happened at the Catholic Church in that day was there was a number of priests said, oh, we're building St. Peter's Basilica. People are donating money voluntarily. Maybe we should, show gratitude by offering an indulgence. The problem was, ultimately, that led to confusion, and that led to people saying, oh, you're buying salvation, which wasn't really true.
One second. If you're not talking, try to mute your mic. I hear typing.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm not retarded.
It's okay. Whoever it is, I'm just letting you know. Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, so the idea during that time is the idea was, oh, this is a charitable cause. People are donating money for this church. It's fitting that we give an indulgence as a result, but it caused a lot of confusion, and the optics were not good because it looked like you were saying, oh, you're paying me to be saved. And so that was the problem. And so what happened later on was Pope St. Pius V, who was a later pope, he wrote a decree saying, we didn't intend for this to happen. We didn't intend to make it look like we were asking for this. A person cannot merit grace. That's not true. We don't believe that. That's not what we intended. But because that caused confusion, we're going to make sure that all monetary indulgences are banned. So today in the Catholic Church, there are still indulgences, but there are no monetary indulgences because of what Pope St. Pius wrote in response to that. So an indulgence today would be a pilgrimage, or a prayer meditation, or a devotion, or something like that.
Oh, okay, real quick. If Daniel wanted to say something, I want to give him an opportunity. And we want to welcome Zelston in Toronto Bible Study. So Daniel, if you want to say something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reasonable, like a minute or less. Then
Yeah, I
Dave
can do
came
that.
in next, and he can respond. And then we have a guest, Toronto. Welcome, everyone. God bless.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I will just say this. Relic veneration has been around since the beginning of the church. And you can see it in the Bible, both in the Old Testament and the New Testament. And a lot of people are making fun of this right now. And I wish they didn't. But that's why we had to pray for the world. Lord have mercy.
Is it so bad to be made fun of?
Well, no, I'm saying it's fine. We actually expect to be mocked, like I said before.
It's not. I mean,
You
it's
need to be
also
punished
The
for
chat
doing
does
the
just
foot
quite a
worship.
bit. It's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of
Can't
place
be
where
We can't be
my chat is
allowing
the
this.
kind where you're gonna have people clowning
Yeah, I
on
get
you.
clowned every time.
We
Okay,
have
David,
Americans.
David, you were the next one in, and then Toronto, we'll let him say what he wants to say, and then obviously we'll open it up. And Latine, you can go next. But let's let the new guests comment. Go. Hey, David.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Hey, Jamie. So I wasn't watching the chat yesterday, but my sister told me you made a really funny joke. I just wanted to give you your credit. So
What's
when
that?
we mentioned Advent, I guess you said, "Do you mean invent?" And I was laughing. I got your joke as the seventh-day
great.
Adventism. I said that was clever.
Well, I got it from you. I was just kidding around.
Yeah. That was funny.
Is Jamie from
Everybody's an Adventist if they believe Jesus.
Jamie, you
is
know
the
Jamie
Trinity.
he's
Welcome
like
to
a
the
Seventh-day
show.
Adventist or something.
David,
But
did
yeah,
you
I
want to
just
say
wanted
anything
to
about
give-
relic
I just-
veneration?
Yeah,
I
did
wanted
you
to
have a
give
comment
Jamie
about
a good joke.
Did you see the last few minutes at all or no?
Since I've been here, yeah.
Okay, Toronto just joined. Toronto's an evangelical. I think he's free grace.
Cool.
Let him comment on whatever he wants to say. Welcome.
Yeah,
Well,
before you go, Toronto, is that your name or is that where you're from?
That's from where I'm from. My name's Mike. Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
I just wanted to say congratulations, first of all.
Thanks.
That's wonderful that you were married. That's beautiful. Jamie, I didn't even know you were getting married, bro. I would have.
Yeah, we just got married. Yep. Thank you.
That's cool. That's cool, man. That's awesome, bro. But anyway, so Jamie, what do you guys think about salvation out here? Like, I guess you got EOs here, you got Catholics here, and Adventists. Are you OSAS? Oh, nice. So Jamie, how does that work, bro? How are you guys gonna work it out?
I think Steve can be OSAS. I would save her too unconditionally.
Yeah.
If I was God, so that's what I say.
You should convert Jamie. Convert Jamie.
Yeah, she's trying.
Yeah.
What?
We attend a Baptist church that's once saved, always saved.
Oh, nice.
Well, it's not that strict, really.
Yeah, they're Baptist.
But that is what the pastor generally.
Toronto, you didn't see what we were talking about the last 5 minutes?
Nah, sorry, I just hopped.
Oh, dang.
What are
I
you
appreciate you coming in and saying, congratulations.
We're talking about. Well, I mean, I don't feel it's the same thing as icon veneration because I don't know. I don't know. It's just the water thing.
Maybe play the video one more time.
I don't want to play it again.
What are they saying is the same as icon veneration?
So is what happened is I wanted to bring up because my friend Daniel and Eastern Thomists they're Orthodox and Catholic, and I just saw this video of a Russian Orthodox, which they're not. They took a saint's mummified foot and sprinkled water on it in a trough full of water. And
wasn't mummified.
Yeah, mummified. And the
It was
congregants.
not mummified. Just
Okay,
want to make that clear.
it was
not mummified.
Okay, it was a saint's foot that was.
I applauded. It was not mummified.
Okay, well,
It was just.
It's not rotten. Let's say that.
It's incorrupt because
man
it's from
who
a holy saint.
The man who
Play the
cut
damn
It
video.
looked a little corrupted. That's not what.
Just play the video. It's
the
20
man
seconds long.
the man who
I
cut
want to
the
hear what
foot off.
Toronto thinks about this.
Hey, you guys,
Just
but the
play
man
it.
who cut the
I
foot
want
off
to hear what
is
Toronto
very
thinks.
holy now too,
It's 20 seconds long.
right? Hey, the guy who cut the foot off, is he very holy now too?
Who let Mr. Wayne's girlfriend in here?
Let's not be totally disrespectful to people.
All right.
Here it is.
I don't like that either. They're like.
Okay. Okay. So the thing that's disturbing to me is not to be joking around, but like, it seems like the humility of Christians would be to like let other people, if they thought the water could heal them, if they were like fighting each other for it. That seems problematic to me. Putting all the jokes aside, if you had Christian humility, you would be like bowing down to let the others get the holy water that heals.
So, like, not all cultures understand the concept of a queue.
What's that?
A queue is like a very English thing. Like,
lineup?
stand and wait and churn, but a lot of people don't
Okay, but
have that.
it seems like in the Bible, it reminded.
I don't know that.
I'm not trying to be joking around, but it reminded me of when I saw during COVID is when people were like beating each other up over toilet paper, trying to get the toilet paper first.
This is a very precious thing. So
Yeah. So like, but like Christian humility would be like, I'm going to let other people get this holy foot water that saves you.
It shows the faith of the people that they're clamoring to get to it.
But is it?
Yeah, but like
is
it's like
it necessary or right? I don't know.
Is it legal in the United States to just cut off a foot and keep it for a present?
So Latina AI, most likely his foot got cut off because he was persecuted. That's what made him holy. That's why he has
Well,
incorrupt
we don't know what
relics.
saint it is, so like.
Yeah, and that's also another thing that's not very fair about all this.
Yeah.
Well,
Playing with dead body parts, it's not fair.
well, you were saying that there's examples of this in the New Testament and the Old. Like, what do you mean by that?
So in the Old Testament, in 2 Kingdoms 13:20 through 21, 2 Kings 13:20 through 21,
Yeah,
a man is revived by touching Elijah's bones.
Yeah, but they didn't keep the bones. I mean, look,
And,
they didn't keep
well,
those bones
obviously
for
they-
hundreds of years or anything.
Obviously they did.
No, they
But
didn't.
Acts
They
19:11
didn't keep
through
the bones.
12, you know, as
They didn't
Easter from
venerate
his-
the bones. What happened was he fell in accidentally, and then he was revived. Right? It's not like they kept the bones and venerated them. That's not what happened, right? They never did that for anybody in the Bible. I don't understand where you're
snap.
getting that.
Well, you know, Kale said a
From
really
tradition.
funny joke. He said, "The kingdom of heaven is a foot. The kingdom of heaven is a foot."
No. Stop. Stop.
So, you know, divorced of the tradition of the church, you know, the Bible is, you know, it's not going to make as much sense.
What's that?
The Bible itself is a product of the tradition of the church.
I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
no,
I
no,
always-
the Bible's a product
guys,
of the
guys,
Word of God.
Guys, I just looked it up. It was Ellen White's foot.
I brought up the biblical example, and again, I'm not Eastern Orthodox. I'm not a part of the church that Daniel's a part of, but I brought up the argument in the book of Acts where you have St. Paul's handkerchief and his apron, and he wipes that with his body, and then all these people take it and they carry it around, and it causes miracles.
I use that too, though.
Yeah, but that was like a one-time thing, and we don't keep it to this.
Okay, it's a
day or
one-time
anything.
thing, but it still causes miracles.
Well, it's also the fact that it was the apostles. It was the apostles thing.
May I add another scripture that I found interesting was there was people who were all they wanted to do was get in the shadow of St. Peter. They believed that if they could just get in the shadow of a man, they would have blessings. And I find that I know I'm biased because I'm a Catholic and he's who we consider the Pope, but even just an apostle, a man that people thought that if they could get in his shadow, and from a Protestant perspective, I'd imagine like
misunderstanding when they did that.
That's not in the
sorry,
Bible,
Jamie, I
is
didn't
it?
hear.
I think.
Oh yeah.
misunderstanding.
Daniel's nodding. Daniel knows the scripture.
I think when they were thinking that they were wrong.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they were just wrong, dude. It's not like
they were.
They're just wrong. It's the church, man. It's guided by the Holy Spirit.
Are we still taking turns? Are we still taking turns?
Good night.
I don't know. I think we're just opening up, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, you can go if you.
What's Jamie doing? The Terry Berry House 500? He just doing laps?
I think he what?
Can I share something with you guys that I think is very important to discuss? You know, yes or no? I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Go ahead.
Okay. You know how like there are weird family traditions of like evil things that get passed down from generation to generation, like child molestation and like alcoholism. Well, like, you know, like for example, like Obama and Biden, you already know like the rumors about Biden, right? Okay, well, let me read to you what I wrote down so I could stay on topic. So before the creation of the King James Version Bible was used, the Geneva Bible in Scotland was used, right? But King James grew to dislike its marginal notes, which he considered to be subversive. The Geneva Bible was the most popular English translation at the time, but the Bishop's Bible was the official version of the Church of England and was also in use. Geneva Bible was the most popular English Bible during James's reign and was, like I said, the one he used when he was the one he used, and was the one he used before the King James version was created, right? He found its marginal notes, which were written by the Protestant reformers, to be seditious and undermining of his authority. Many historians believe that King James was likely gay or bisexual due to his passionate and public relationships with male authorities.
What does this have to do with the Bible?
With male favorites. He had very close,
It's actually
often
not. It's
romantic
actually not
seeming
well regarded.
bonds with men like Esme Stewart, Robert Carr, and George Villers. And so he changed the Bible because he thought it was seditious and undermining his authority, right? And aren't we supposed to not be changing the Bible?
He didn't change the Bible. They made a better Bible. They made a better, like, that's what the translators were doing it, not the king, right? And what their goal was to take these good Bibles that they had, the bishops, the I don't know, the Tyndale, etc., and just kind of make one Bible that was not justly to be accepted against. That's what they said, and that's what they did, and it's very good.
Yeah,
I mean, are we going to be naive and pretend like that even the Bible didn't talk about like orgies and stuff, and that there wasn't this unclean stuff happening? Like, are we going to pretend there weren't kings that were into like stuff like that? That, you know, maybe this Bible actually is gay.
It's getting kind of late. I gotta go to sleep to get to work. Hey guys, I love you all. God bless you all.
God bless.
Take care.
Defend all the people I don't agree with. You made me defend the Eastern Orthodox Church, and now you're making me defend King James. I mean, there's absolutely
Good one, Latin AI and Kelly.
Don't believe in the King James Bible. I don't think it's a good translation. I don't think people should use it to teach. The fact of the matter is there's no evidence. There's not a lick of evidence that King James was a homosexual. The people who said that he was a homosexual are people who mostly were opponents of him in real life. So, and it was like one person, I think, who said he was a homosexual. Didn't like him. I mean, it would be like if Donald Trump came out tomorrow and said Joe Biden was a homosexual and he didn't provide any evidence for it. And nobody else came out and claimed it. It would be like that, essentially. And again, I don't like King James, but
since this is the Terry Strange channel and these questions are loved around here, speaking of gay presidents, does anyone else think Obama was a gay president?
No, he wasn't.
I heard rumors he was the first gay president. Yeah, is that true, Terry Berry?
I don't know that he was the first one.
Well, I wanted to reply just real quick to two of the things that were said earlier. So
but he's zesty. He's definitely a zesty one.
He has some sugar in his tank.
I don't know how much, but there's some in there.
A couple things that earlier.
Good night, Daniel.
But I just wanted to reply to a couple things earlier. I think I mentioned the verse in Acts about Paul, and I know he was an apostle, and I know that was a one-time thing. But I think the principle still applies in that this object that is close to a holy man is still efficacious in the amount of grace that it can project. And I think that you could apply that same logic to the relic of a martyr. Again, I don't know who that was in the video. I don't know that saint's background, but you could potentially apply that same principle there. And then the other argument about with St. Peter, I don't see any evidence in the Bible that says that they were in the wrong for doing that with St. Peter's shadow. I'm actually reading the verse right now. It's Acts chapter 5 verses 15 to 16. It actually says they were all healed after.
Okay, no, it's because he's an apostle, dude. He's an apostle. It's not like just anybody that your church picked, It's totally different. Like when you guys say that a saint we're supposed to venerate his relics or anything of the kind, it's like that's not a biblical thing, right? That's just from your church. That's why we oppose that,
Well,
saying, with all due respect, Your Honor, we just showed you how Christians were venerating the handkerchief of St. Paul.
Yeah, that's an apostle. No. What we're saying though is that it's an apostle, He has miraculous powers. Other people, they're not
Well,
apostles.
surely.
Well,
you have to. Yeah, the Catholics
don't think
believe we have apostolic successors.
I know you believe that, but you can't prove that. That's the problem.
Well, hold on a second. I don't think it had anything to do with the apostolic powers that they had. I think it had everything to do with ultimately their subordination and their participation in God's goodness that ultimately caused those relics to be efficacious.
No,
and I
it's
think
ridiculous. It's obviously because there's an apostle. Obviously. It's obviously because he's an apostle.
Principle can be applied to anyone. It doesn't.
How about this?
No, it can't. No, because other people cannot. Other people cannot. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Other people cannot just heal people like Peter could.
I don't think
other people are not apostles of Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's why it's not just anybody. It's Peter and Paul. They're special cases. Clearly, that's why. Why would anybody else? Why would we ever do that for anybody else? Anyone?
Well, I think with all due respect, I think that's a very fallacious argument. Nowhere in the Bible does it say the reason for this was because of the special miracles they were able to perform and not because they merely participated in the grace of God.
It clearly no. It's obvious. Once again, it's obvious in the Bible that that's why. Because other people do not do that.
Obvious?
Hold on. I'll just explain it. Other people in the Bible, they don't do that. We don't venerate the handkerchiefs of like Herod or other characters in the Bible
because
Paul
he wasn't a believer,
or anyone or any believer or whatever. We don't just venerate other people believers stuff. But if those people did it with Peter and Paul, okay, it's because they were apostles. They were the ones doing miracles. They were the ones with the holy.
Again, I think that's begging the question.
No, it's not. It's not begging the question. It's that you're the one who has to demonstrate that other people, other than the apostles, they receive that kind of veneration. They do not.
Well, I think that's an unfair argument too, Toronto, because you said that it doesn't happen, and we gave an example from Scripture, and you said, well, that's an alone. That's one guy. I need another example.
Well, no. Wait. Hold on a sec. I asked you. What I said was that what I said is that relic veneration doesn't happen. You gave me the example of Paul's handkerchief. Is that a relic veneration? Okay, whatever. Let's say it is. That's again. It's because he's an apostle. We can see why.
So this is called fallacy of special.
No, it isn't. It's not any kind of fallacy. You're the ones. You have to. It's absolutely you who have to show that Paul is not a special case. Paul is obviously a special case.
Okay, Toronto, how about this argument? Now, so
we showed
if the Pope, how about this? If the Pope,
they had all these.
I can't moderate them.
How about Pseudo? How about this? If the Pope came to a city today and a Catholic was like, "Oh, if I could just shake the hand of the whatever, get in his shadow." A Protestant could argue that's a man, that's unbiblical. But then we show you the example of someone wanting to get in Peter's shadow. So what's the difference between?
The difference is, as I just explained to you, right? As I just said, the difference is Peter is an apostle. He had miraculous powers from Jesus Christ. All right. The Pope does not have those things. He is not an apostle, except in your church's claims, which the Orthodox would disagree with. So it's not the same thing.
Take turns.
So this is the no true Scotsman fallacy.
No, it's not. It's not a no true Scotsman at all.
You guys be graceful and take turns.
It absolutely is. We're showing you two examples that show people who participate in God's grace, regardless of who they are, as long as they participate in God's grace and demonstrate a certain level of holiness, ultimately can have certain relics that can be venerated and that can be efficacious. And you're saying, well, no, that's because they were apostles and they had a special status. Well, it never says that it's because they had a special status as apostles. This is exactly what the
I'll explain. No, I'll explain to you why it's not a true Scotsman. Hold on. You just explained your fallacy. I'll explain why you're wrong. Okay, because we know from the Bible that Paul and Peter are special cases, that they are apostles with miraculous powers, and other characters in the Bible are not. and none of those characters are ever treated in that way. So it's not a no true Scotsman. They are absolutely special cases. We can see that from the text.
But nowhere does it say in the text that these are the reasons
Doesn't have
why.
to. Doesn't have to. You would have to find
Well,
another
now-
case.
now-
Hold on. Hold on a sec. You would have to find somebody who's not an apostle, who they treat that way. Otherwise,
Well,
there's no case.
so this is exactly the definition of a
No, it's
true
not.
God.
It's absolutely not a no
It's-
true Scotsman.
so I think we may be talking past each other.
Scotsman
Pseudo.
person, that would be the example I used, is what you just said.
What?
Very
What's your
clear
example? What's your example? What's your example?
Well, here, let me help you guys. We might be talking past each other. Perhaps because as Catholics we believe that our clergy is apostolic successors, aka akin to Peter and Paul. Is it maybe you don't believe that you won't concede that we can see that? Is the difference? You're not.
No, the difference is that Peter and Paul are written about in the Bible. Jesus gave them special appointments, okay? Whereas the Pope does not have that. So that's why we don't treat them as in the same category as Peter and Paul.
So just so I can understand you, and I don't want to strawman you. So if we got an example from Timothy, like St. Paul wrote to the letter of Timothy, had they done with Timothy, would that be the same as Peter and Paul, or is Timothy not special like them? Only the 12 in Peter and Paul.
No, look, I don't know. Peter, all that stuff is in an apostolic era. It's in the Bible. If Paul did something like that with Timothy, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's not a case that I would say some other random person is just gonna have the same
Timothy
veneration.
is Timothy also? Would you lump Timothy in with the apostles, or would he be another random person? That's what I'm asking.
Well, no, he's certainly not a random person, is he? He's obviously somebody very close to Paul.
You.
I don't know, but he's certainly not some random person. He's not just some random.
So Toronto, surely you have to have some grace, because I'm trying to get some specification from you, and you're saying I don't know.
No.
So
What you're trying to do?
that-
Hold on. What you're trying to do is try to create this weird thing where I would compare some normal person today to Timothy. Timothy, who was Paul's student, who was the bishop of Ephesus or whatever. He's not like somebody else who just randomly just decided to, I don't know, be a saint or whatever you guys are calling him.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm asking you for clarification.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm saying to you that yes, what Timothy would be a special case. He's not just some random person.
He's not
even if you're saying.
Oh, wait, 1 second.
I
guys.
just want to know why.
Go ahead, Latina AI, and when she's done, please don't interrupt her. We're gonna welcome Sandman to the chat. Welcome. Go ahead, Latina.
So this person that, like, say they are pulled apart and they're like a saint now and they're going to worship the foot. Why can't we just honor this person and give them a tomb, and then the people can visit the tomb? Why do we have to play with a dead foot? That is sad. That's like really morbid and very like, just like, it seems like something from the medieval times when like people were ignorant and didn't know that you could get sick from touching dead things, you know. It just seems crazy, and I just want to know, like, why can't they just be given a grave and where people can come and worship, and there could be like a monument, you know?
Fair enough. Welcome, Sandman. Are you there, Sandman? He is not. I'll give him 5 more seconds, and then we'll just open it back up. Sandman, are you there? Oh, welcome.
Mic check on Sandman.
Any thoughts on the subject at hand? Welcome to the stream. I see your mic is unmuted, but we can't hear you. Sandman, are you there?
Mr.
Man, you guys
Sandman.
need to be careful. That might not be Mr. Sandman. Hopefully he's not a porn bomber. Okay, stop. You guys don't let it happen again.
We're gonna close it down shortly, guys.
Okay. So my question to Toronto is, where specifically in the Bible does it say the reason these relics were efficacious was because St. Peter and Paul were apostles?
Look, it doesn't have to say
Oh,
that.
man.
No one else in the Bible has.
does.
No. It doesn't. Absolutely does not. And I'll tell you why. Hold on. I'll tell you why. Okay, because the reason why reason why Paul and Peter's miracles and things of that nature were special is because other people could not do them. They were special. They were a special
Where does it
case.
say that?
What do you mean it does? Where does it say that? Could other people do that? When Peter raised that guy, hold on a sec. When Peter went and raised that guy up, the crippled guy at the temple, right? And he was walking, right? And no one else could ever do that. That's the whole point of it, was that, wow, this guy did something that no human could do. And then when he said, oh, it's because of Jesus Christ, then people could believe in Jesus Christ. That's the point of it. If you try to say that, we can just give that to anybody who's
the grace of God.
What?
Did they do that on command, or did they do that because of the grace of God?
No, that's not the point. Once again, the fact that Peter could do it. Hold on. The fact that Peter could do it and other people can't do it is the whole reason why it's special. Why people then could look at that as a miracle and say, "Wow, okay, I guess we'll believe in Jesus." If someone else could do it.
So there's go ahead.
When you have people that can't do stuff like that, and you're trying to say I should venerate their things because of some story you guys came up with, that's not the same thing.
Right, but I asked you for one verse that said it was specifically because
I know. I don't have a verse like that. Tell me the verse that says the Catholic Church has apostolic authority. What a joke.
Well, there's
no verse. There's no verse.
Prophecy was handed down by the laying down of hands.
Right. What a joke.
Hold it. You guys. Hey. When Terry speaks, you got to be quiet because it's her channel.
Yeah, come on.
Sorry.
Sandman just fixed his mic, so we're gonna let him have a word. Hi,
I
Sandman.
don't even know if you guys can hear me.
We can hear you. I'll look and see if I can turn your mic up a bit.
There he is.
What's up, Z?
I'm gonna try and make it louder.
Nobody answered my question. I said, how come the guy doesn't get a grave? How come we can't just stop playing with feet, or like what Adriana said, just pray to God? Because this really seems like somebody made up a. No, this is not some rural stuff. We don't pray to feet. We don't touch or drink feet to try to get a miracle going. We just pray and use the word of God, because nothing is promised to us on this earth like that.
All right. Well, it is Sandman's turn. You've made your point.
Maybe Latina's jealous that nobody's venerating her feet, and she's alive.
You don't know that.
Oh, I know that for sure. Guarantee. So, Z, you there?
So Sandman, you want people to play with feet? Listen, great Sandman, just because people play with feet and just because you play with your booty hole doesn't mean that people want body parts played with like you do. Okay, weirdo.
Am I coming in loud enough? Am I coming in loud enough?
Sandman likes to play with booty hole.
I hear you.
Loud and clear, or just too low?
Yeah, you're coming in good now.
Okay. All right, cool.
No,
yeah.
Sandman has.
You know what? I'm gonna take off, but thanks, Terry, for your time, and God bless you all. And I hope you'll get out of the Catholic thing. I don't think it's good for you, but God bless you.
Oh.
They try to shift the burden to you when they are venerating dead feet around. I know it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. These guys are just completely foolish, dude. I can't believe the guy's trying to tell me it's not a special case. It's not a special case that Peter could do that. Obviously, he's an apostle, dude. The Bible literally says that too. Like it says how God works extraordinary or something. God worked miracles through Paul and stuff. He talks about that, man. Anyway, so dumb. Wait, what is this? Well, that was another lady. I don't think she's like kind of like in the middle trying to figure out stuff. And then there were 2 Catholic guys, and then there was some Orthodox guy, but he left. Yeah, the pillar of truth. They think they make news. I know, exactly. They don't understand why the miracles were done to prove they were from God. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. God chose the apostles. It's not like he chooses their saints. It's just foolish. Those 2 people. I don't know Terry, but I know Jamie. Jamie has another channel. I've been on his channel a couple times. He's like a 7-day Adventist. He'll come on my channel sometimes. And I'll yell at him to call him a heretic and stuff, you know? Yeah. That was just getting weird. When you start talking about those gross things, I just said, okay, time to go. He seems chill, but he's not usually, or he has his moments, but he's usually kind of weird. Like he's fully against free grace. He's 100% against it, but she's OSAS, so maybe she'll convert him. You know, we can only hope. I started to get angry, but thanks. You're a good impression on me, or a good influence on me, Crafty. I thought they were all Catholic. No. Some of them are Catholic, some of them aren't. I know exactly. She's nice that she's OSAS, dude. I hope he can. I hope she can kind of help him out. You know. Should we watch news unit? Let's see what he said.
Nothing. Trust God, do nothing.
Okay, just pretend I'm a Christian.
Do nothing.
Me being a Christian.
They're cultish, but apparently they're not technically a cult because they're kind of like, I don't know. They do have some. It's all a matter of like, because they'll claim, their official sources will claim that they don't hold the works of Ellen G. White to be scripture, but in practical terms they kind of do. So that's I think they are basically a cult, but the way it's framed nowadays, people just tend to not call them a cult anymore. But I think they are still.
Christian has nothing to do with Genesis 1.
If you're gonna do nothing, do it better, would you? All I ask. If you're gonna do nothing, do it with all your might. Can you do nothing with all your might?
Should I go on news unit or is it gonna be too? This guy's like bad news, right? I remember high school Prisma class say they were Seventh-day Adventists, and I was like, yeah, I know it's not good. Did you see Seventh-day Adventists like Oneness Pentecostal in terms of very quick popularity and huge numbers? I don't think they're that big, are they? Huge numbers? I don't know. Oneness Pentecostals are huge now, man. But the whole Pentecostal thing, the whole thing is, I would say, heresy, and the whole thing is just huge now, dude. It's insanely huge.
Angels because they have intellect and free will, that they're also made in the image of God. And then you can also see the other arguments that people say, okay, well, when you read the scriptures, we also see that we have dominion over things. And then some people argue that, the angels don't have dominion. But I'll just go off of those particular things myself. But anyway, let's get back into it. Shout out to, again, the channel So Beat. If you're not subscribed, you need to go ahead and subscribe because they do amazing work over here.
And it's revealing that God's identity
This guy thinks they're doing amazing work. This guy thinks these people are doing amazing work. The people we just exposed. Hilarious. But this guy's not letting people on. He's just kind of like doing a live,
communal. It includes relationship, even love. This is the very first fractal in the Bible, and everything that's created is going to carry this pattern. Everything in nature is meant to be interconnected, to exist in harmony, in wholeness, in healed community and relationship. And we intuitively know this, right? We know that a good life is one that's filled with relationships and with love.
Yeah. And I think in the way that we enjoy relationships as people, I think it's clear to see that when someone pulls out of relationships, isolates themselves, spends a lot of their time alone, thinking only about themselves, that they have a difficult time communicating, a difficult time interrelating with people.
Yeah.
They have a difficult time within complex relationships. And so it shows us how important not only relationships are, but how they help us actually become more like God in his relationship with himself and humanity.
Well, and I think that the Hebrew scriptures are implying here that love is a small fractal of the divine, right? So when we experience that in our lives, we know there's something so powerful about that. And it's because that is the essence of God. And we can further understand this concept, I believe, when we continue through the passage, right? Because in the next verse, it talks about the
Are you
Spirit of
serious?
God
God logic?
hovering over the face of the waters. The word in Hebrew there for hover, merachefet, it comes from the root rechef, which means to flutter or hover, right? To gently move back and forth, like beating wings. And it's actually a word that's used in another passage in Deuteronomy, referring to an eagle flying over and protecting her young. The word can also be used to refer to a bird sitting on their nest, on their eggs, right? Waiting for them to hatch.
Right.
And so here's a quote from Rabbinic Commentary on the Bible from the Midrash. This is from Genesis Rabbah, which is compiled between the 3rd and 5th centuries AD, right? So this is preserving older Jewish traditions about creation. And it says, "And the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. This refers to the Spirit of King Messiah. As it
moves,
That
there's
does
a dis-
move.
that
there is
like
no
a-
disagreement amongst
no,
physicists.
there's a
You could go find
common
physicists, and they will tell you time does not move and it has no flow. Things move in space time.
Would you disagree with characterizing it as the medium?
There's a disagreement between two people here, and it's one observer and another observer, and they're traveling at different speeds and they're in different locations. That's the only disagreement. When they both report whatever they're seeing miraculously at the same time, they will verify each other. Like, so there is no difference between space and time.
Well, there
Space
is a
and time
difference
and
between
movement.
space and time. They're not
Well,
like,
yeah,
otherwise there would just be 4 dimensions of space.
But the movement through that thing, all these things work together.
I guess I'm a little confused.
They're interlocked. Like, you move through space and time, and each has an influence on
Space-time.
each other. Yeah.
They're holding hands.
What's the point of that?
I don't know.
What was the argument? I forgot.
I feel like Casey's like, I don't know, like trying.
Someone
to
doesn't believe in
separate
time.
separate them too far is what I thought I was hearing. Like, space and time are totally not interconnected, where all the evidence shows that they're very, very connected.
For the record, it's not that I don't believe that time exists. I think that time is a label that we slap on a thing that we experience.
Well, but that's everything. Everything is just a label.
Correct.
That we slap on stuff, but that stuff is real. It's a
yeah,
part of
yeah.
the world.
Stuff certainly exists.
But it's different from other frames of reference. And there's like there's a measurement that can happen there over and over and over and over, and it's accurate or whatever. So how is time not physical? How is time just a thing that we describe? If it's not, or knowing that it is consistently like manipulatable, like we can be going a certain speed and we can have a certain amount of time. If we can do that, how is time not a real thing?
We're measuring something, but we don't have a total understanding of what that is. Like, we call it. Sure, we don't understand what space-time is. Space-time might not even be a fundamental feature of the world. A lot of physicists, I'm not going to say most, but a lot think that space-time is an emergent structure. That doesn't make it not real. Just to clarify.
What if
Not
it's
that
the
anybody's
medium?
saying that it
It's
does.
the medium for existence.
I mean, not if it's not fundamental, because then there's things out of which it emerges that would be more fundamental than it. But I mean, I get what you're saying. Space-time is sort of the quote-unquote backdrop against like which we measure stuff that happens in the world. Like I understand. I definitely understand that. That's a little bit simplistic, but not necessarily an inaccurate way to understand space-time.
Yo, how's it going? Toronto Bible study.
Good man.
Oh, was he in here? Oh, nice.
What up? I was gonna say space-time is just a foolish theory that has no basis in observable reality. You know.
Is that
other than
Tell
all
us
of
more.
the predictions that the theory has confirmed?
Yeah,
How have you
because we
arrived
talked
at this
about this. We
position?
just talked about this. Prediction just means you're affirming the consequent. It's not.
That's not what a prediction is. No.
Now, when you claim that your theory, that your model, I should say, not a theory, your model is true because
It's a theory.
No, well, whatever. Anyway, when you claim that your model is true because of the prediction, that's affirming the consequent. That's the fact.
What do you think affirming the consequent is?
Whoa.
It's when you claim that your model is true because of a prediction you made through your model.
So, well, that's not what affirming the consequent is. So, first off,
That's
affirming
exactly
the
what it is.
consequent and
It's
affirming
exactly
that's
what
not
it
what it
is.
is.
Oh,
Here,
no,
I'll
this is silly.
explain
This is
it
a
for you.
line of
Look it
So,
up.
affirming the consequent is generally understood. Now, there are certain instances where you can apply it, and it's not technically fallacious, but generally speaking, affirming the consequent is a type of fallacy. Here's the rub. It's a formal fallacy, which means it is a fallacy in the form of a structured argument. Predictions aren't structured arguments, so they can't affirm the consequent.
I know. Your
You
argument.
just misunderstand the concept.
No. Hold
I'm
on a
sorry.
second. No, I don't. Your argument is.
Wait, give an argument.
We made
Give
this
an argument.
prediction,
Do it.
therefore relativity is true. So that's why it's affirming the consequent.
No, do it. Do an argument.
Do it. Do it.
Do it, Leo. Give him a non-question begging. Or I'm sorry, non-consequent affirming argument. Just do it.
I mean,
Wreck
it's simple.
Yeah, do
All
that.
men are mortal. Socrates was a man. Therefore,
No. We're
was
talking
mortal.
about support relativity without affirming the consequent. Do that.
Well, I don't know how it would affirm the consequent when it's not
when you
a
say,
formal,
for
it's not
example,
a formal argument.
you just claimed that relativity is true because of all these predictions we made.
Wait, we're denying relativity? Is that
Hold
what
on
we're
a sec.
doing?
Hold on.
Yeah,
a sec,
no,
man.
he's a flat earther.
I'm saying that. What I'm saying is that. Hold on. What I'm saying is that space-time is not an observable reality. So it's based on. No, it isn't. No,
What?
It isn't. That's ridiculous.
Do you want to know how you can observe it?
How can you observe it? How can you observe it? Tell me.
I'll tell you how. Hold on. Hold up. I got this. I'll tell you how. I want you to pick up an object, any object that you don't care if it breaks, and then I want you to let go of it. And I want you to watch.
That doesn't prove space-time is real. What are you talking about? No, it doesn't.
Well,
it's an experiment.
First of all, let me explain something to you guys. If you didn't understand this, space-time is by definition impossible for us to observe. Impossible.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You're trying to tell me, pick up something and drop it, that observes space-time? What a joke. What a joke.
Wait, how is it impossible to observe space-time? How?
Because you can't observe it.
How?
Can you see it?
So it's impossible to observe because you can't
see
observe it.
Can you see it?
But we're the ones affirming the consequence.
No. Space-time is the medium, dude. So when you watch the ball drop, you're watching the ball move through space and through time.
Listen,
you can't
that's
see,
not what space-time is.
Electrons. Are you saying that like, electricity isn't real because you can't see electrons?
Of course not. That's not the argument. The argument
okay,
is
well then you not being able to see space-time doesn't mean that space-time isn't real. For the same reason that we can't see electrons doesn't mean electricity isn't real.
No, it's obviously not the same thing at all because with electricity you can conduct inductive experiments. It's a good theory.
And you can do the same thing with gravity, like picking something up and letting go of it.
No, that's not an inductive experiment.
Observing gravitational lensing, the galactic rotation experiments that we've done,
satellites
the perihelion precession of the orbit of Mercury, the prediction of black holes that were then confirmed in the 50s, the prediction of gravitational waves that were then observed in 2015.
I've explained already. Prediction is affirming the consequent.
And I explained how you clearly don't know what affirming the consequent is.
You're just saying that.
Toronto, can you explain to me the difference between a formal fallacy and an informal fallacy, please?
No. All I'm saying.
Yeah,
to you is
because
this.
you don't know. You
Hold on,
don't
hold
know.
on.
what the
Wait, at
difference
least he's
is.
honest. At least he's honest. He can't do it.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Look.
But wait. It matters if you're claiming that something commits a formal fallacy when there has been no formal argument given.
Yeah, you made the argument. You made the argument that
What was
because
the argument?
the argument
What
was
the
that
argument?
look
And I
at
want
all
you to
these.
give it
Hold
in
on,
its,
hold on.
and I want
Can
you
I
to give
talk?
it in its
Can I
formal
talk?
structure.
Can I
Give a
talk?
formal
Your
structure.
argument was look at all these predictions we make with relativity. Therefore, relativity is true. I said that that's affirming the
I never
classic
made
way.
that argument.
You
I
did.
never
You
said that.
absolutely said that.
No,
when
I
I came
didn't.
out, that's why I said
What
that.
argument? Wait, hold on. What was it?
His argument was I said relativity is a dumb theory because you can't observe space time.
Well, that's dumb.
Hold on a
So
sec.
what's the next part?
No.
What's the
Well,
next
explain how you can observe space time, bro. Just tell me that.
Okay.
Gravity.
But wait,
No,
it might
that's
have been
not
me.
an
It might have been
observation
me.
of space time. You ridiculous
Yes, it is.
person.
I'm
Wait,
just asking.
wait.
Just
Toronto,
asking,
Toronto.
because I think it was
Do
me.
you know anything about general relativity?
Hold on a
Toronto?
sec. Let me just explain something to you guys.
Like, do you know what? Do you
Hold
know
on,
what a
hold
metric
on.
tensor is?
This person,
Is that a thing
right?
that you know?
This person
Do you
with
know
the
what that is?
flag. This
Can you tell me
person-
what that is?
Hold on, just relax.
Hi, you can call me Leo.
This person just tried to say that if I drop something and it falls to the ground, that proves space time.
I didn't say that it proves it. I said that it's a way to observe it.
Hold on.
It's not a way to observe it. What are you talking about?
You used the way. You
What a
used the word.
ridiculous joke. What a
Well, it is a way to
joke.
observe it.
No, it isn't.
I can explain
No, it
how.
isn't.
I don't think you'd understand it.
No, you don't know because you don't know. That's look.
Yes, I do.
Hold
I
on,
understand general
hold on.
relativity.
Let me explain,
I think it's quite clear that you
Hold
don't.
on. No, wait. Hold on. If I drop something to the ground, I observed that something dropped to the ground. That doesn't.
Why did it drop to the ground?
Hold on. That does not observe space-time or relativity.
Why did it fall?
The fact that you don't understand the difference
Why
is
did it fall?
ridiculous.
Politely
Why did
raising
it
my
fall?
hand. Politely raising my
What
hand.
is the other explanation? Can I get that?
It doesn't matter what the other.
No. We don't need to
no.
worry about another explanation. Just why did it fall? When I let go of something, why does it fall?
I don't have to offer an explanation. The fact
I'm not asking you to offer an explanation.
The fact that you said that me dropping something to the ground is an observation of space time.
It is.
It shows how ridiculous you don't even.
So you don't actually have an
Politely
argument. You're
raising
just
my
getting
hand.
excited saying
That's my argument.
incredulity.
That's all this.
Hold on.
That's my argument.
We don't have an explanation, and you don't have an explanation.
I don't need an explanation.
So we
I would like to
don't have
posit
an
one. I would like to
explanation.
posit one. I would like to posit
And
one.
then what happens?
Listen. It doesn't matter if I have an explanation or not.
Please, Toronto. Respectfully,
think
I
it's
love
you,
you, by the
dude.
way. You're awesome. You're great. Thank you for being here, by the way. It's really brave of you to get in here and have these conversations with us. I'd like to posit. Hold on. I'd like to pause it. I want to see if I can build a bridge here. All right. Can you follow me down a little trail? Can we hold hands?
Anywhere you
walk together?
go,
Okay.
I'll follow
You pick up the ball,
you
right?
down.
Now, I posit that space-time is the medium. Okay? So when you let go of the ball, you observe the ball moving through space and through time. And so you've just observed space-time. Does that make sense to you?
Dude, that's not what space-time is. That's not what that theory is talking about.
Okay, well, hold on.
What
would you say? Hold on. What would you say that space-time?
Magically attacked me.
What?
I'm sorry.
What is
How would you
space-time is?
describe space-time? Yes. What do you think we're
like? It's a
invoking when we
model. It's a model that Einstein developed, right? Where he's trying to
Okay,
say that
yes.
the universe is
Oh,
not.
you think Einstein
Hold on,
developed
hold on,
space?
hold on, hold on.
Just be
Let me
quiet.
in,
Just be
let me
quiet,
talk,
man. Just be
let me
quiet.
Okay, he's through the door. He's through
Or
the door.
whatever.
Definitely
Whoever
through the
developed it, it's a model of the universe.
Herman
Left
Minkowski
side,
is the
left
name.
side.
you're
Hold on,
looking
Just
for.
be quiet. You're just trying to pretend. The fact that you
Pretend?
said,
So are
the
you
fact
saying that what
you
I said is
said-
false?
Hold on.
Please.
The fact that you said that dropping a ball
You might have left.
is observing
Yeah, you're just
space-time.
repeating the same thing
No,
over
no.
again.
That
You're
just proves.
Oh,
That just
you're
proves how ignorant you are. The fact you just said that. The fact you
No,
said that.
Yeah, see, you don't have an argument. Hold on. Can I interject?
There's a much better
it's
example than the ball dropping
halfway,
because we
We're halfway.
actually observe the light bending across the curvature of space time.
Okay.
We see
I
light
mentioned
actually being bent.
gravitational
I think that's a better
Yeah,
example
we've
of
talked about that.
observing
I've
it.
talked about that with this character before as well. What
I
that
don't
is?
think-
Hold on
also,
a second.
Like I said
Hey.
earlier, you can call me Leo.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
he
think
has
I
a name,
will.
man. No, come on. Yeah, you be respectful. He has a name. He has a name.
Fine, whatever.
Come on, let's be nice.
He's not being respectful of me.
Friendly blood sports. Let's kill each other.
Anyway, Casey Lee. When you observe gravitational lensing, that's not observing space-time. That's observing light do something.
It literally
is. Hold on. No, it isn't.
Hold on.
Let him
finish.
What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing in life?
No. Let's not do that. Come on, just finish.
Doing general relativity.
If you observe, hold on, just be quiet.
That's why.
If you observe light do something unusual, that's interesting. Okay. When they say that that's because of space-time curvature, that is just what they call inference to the best explanation. All right. It is not an observation of space.
But it was posited before it was observed.
Yes,
it was
so it's a
theorized.
prediction from the model. Yes, I get it.
A prediction that came true.
Exactly. I know that. And what I'm saying to you is that if you assert that your model is true because the prediction came true, that your model came up with, that is affirming the consequence.
Okay,
I've already explained how it's not.
No, it's not. No, you haven't explained it. You're
Yes, I
wrong.
have. Would you like me to explain it again? I'll gladly explain it again.
No. You don't know.
Affirming the consequent is a formal fallacy. It is a fallacy in the form of an argument, in the rule of inference. So general relativity is not a logical argument. It has no rule of inference, and so it does not.
Your argument that you just made. The argument you just made.
This is now twice I've had to explain that a model making predictions about what should be observed, and then we observe the thing it says we should, is not affirming the consequence. You just don't understand anything about how science works.
Hold on. If you say the model is true.
Let me say this.
So if it's raining out, if I say if it's raining outside, my car will be wet, and then I see that my car is wet, and the trees are wet, and the sidewalk is wet, and the road is wet, and it's cloudy outside, and then I say, oh, it must have rained. I'm affirming the consequent.
Okay.
That's what you think.
This is the thing.
Yeah, so you don't have a response. You have nothing. You have literally nothing.
You're just a talker over.
What you have is the literal nothingness that theists consistently claim existed before the universe. I, the guy who actually understands general relativity.
You don't understand it. You don't understand it. If you just said that, you don't even understand that argument.
You literally said that space-time isn't even the thing that the theory tries to posit, clearly demonstrating.
I never said that.
Please, bro, please.
2 seconds. Okay. Yes, in common day speech, many people affirm the consequent. That is not the same thing as calling someone out for the logical fallacy.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying though is when people like Leo make the claim
like it's only argument dependent. You should only be pointing that gun at a person making a argument to you.
Yeah, I know. So for example, Casey just made the argument. He just made, or he or whatever just made the argument that because we saw light, what they're calling gravitational lensing, that therefore relativity is true. All right. That argument.
Tell me what.
Hold on.
He's just going to repeat himself.
Hold on. Let's just see the form of the argument.
No, I'm here with you.
Real fast. The room is full right now, and somebody's trying to join. If you'd like,
I can bow out,
spot on the panel, you can kick somebody off the panel.
No, I'll just bow out.
$5 to kick someone off the panel.
It was nice talking to you all.
I'm here with you.
All right,
I'm saying, tell me why that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Because he doesn't understand it.
No,
just let him explain.
The argument was that we observe X, and this theory predicts X. Therefore, this theory is true. All right.
Nobody's made that argument. It's
yes,
certainly
Casey
not.
just did. Casey just did.
I never say they were true. I would never say true.
You did earlier as well.
I don't know what.
Well, no, even the thing is, you might now you're going to back out and say, "Oh no, I never said true." But what you're really doing is saying, because my point was that relativity is a dumb theory. And you said no, we've observed it, we've tested it, we've proven it, and then you brought up that example. So now you're going to say, hold on. Now you're going to say, well, no, we don't do that because that's science. Science never proves things and da. But that is what you're doing. That is.
I believe we haven't observed it. I'm open to arguments of why we haven't observed it. I'm not sure.
He doesn't have any.
I'm not saying we didn't observe the light do something funny. Around.
Yeah. Why does the light? Why does light bend? Why does light bend? Why does light bend around massive? Why does light bend around massive objects? And why is the rate at which the light bends directly proportionate to the mass of the object? Can you explain why? Because this is the point that I'm just going to keep talking. Because this is the point that you're missing. Is that it's not just a...
What a joke. What a joke. These guys are just idiots, dude. He won't let me talk. He won't let me give like my argument, you know? He just refuses to. And all they do is just talk over you, and then act like you're an idiot just for disagreeing with them. Utterly ridiculous, dude. Anyway. I don't know, you guys. Well, I don't know. Still points to go on those shows. I'm gonna wrap it up though, guys. It's getting late now. I didn't even realize I was gonna do it live tonight. I just saw those guys. And I was like, oh, maybe I could get on here, and then like, okay, just go on, you know. But yeah, I know. Anyway, it's so dumb. But Nathan, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like it's so ridiculous that and they're he's just in denial, and he knows that they're making that argument. That's why he's just talking over me, because he knows if I get my argument out, I'll disprove their claims, you know. Yeah, I saw that. If P then Q, therefore P. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that was their argument. But then they try to say, they try to back out and say, well, no, we're not saying that. We're just saying that it seems likely or whatever, you know. But when I asked them about relativity, they were saying, it's proven. We know this and all this stuff, right? So then when you corner them on the fact that they're saying a fallacy, then they try to deny it, you know. But this is wicked. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there though, guys, because it's getting late and tired. But thanks for coming along. I'm sorry we didn't get to go on that atheist show, but I would have smoked that guy. But this guy Leo he gets me so mad because he just talks over me. He won't even let me say one thing, and then I get mad. I start yelling and stuff, you know. Anyway, yeah, God bless y'all. God bless. That was fun. All right, good. Glad you guys had fun at least. All right, thanks everyone, and thanks for watching Toronto Bible Study. Hallelujah.
Okay. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Studying the Bible with Mike, Sam, Pat. These other YouTubers are just so trash. Hit the thumbs up if you want to support. Go follow Mike as he follows the Lord. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 You better watch out, Mike's calling out the shields. If you're not free grace, you need to sit down and chill. We're not hyper grace, you know we keep it real. Eternally secure, you know that we're sealed. We don't back low, we're not workspace heretics. Mike's not in it for the money, trying to get a lick. They out here selling their souls for a couple clicks. Becoming Freemasons so they can't just get rich. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Shout out to Mike, Sam, Pat. Check out his channel, Toronto Bible Study. Subscribe and like.